Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Sports 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And man, it was a big weekend in the sporting world. And, sometimes you come on, you're like, geez, I'm not really sure. What are we going to talk about today? Today is not one of those days. Today is like the easiest preparation for a talk show that you can have when Connor McDavid announces that he's signed an extension in Edmonton. Turns out it's a 2-year deal at the exact same AAV of 12.5. So you have 3 more seasons of Connor McDavid. I know a lot of people focus on 2. It's like, no, this year doesn't even count. This year's like the the last year of his previous deal. So it's 3 more seasons, 26, 27, 28 for Connor McDavid. That's minimum. Maybe it'll be more. We'll see. I would suggest, I'm going to say on our show, we're not even discussing the future of McDavid past 3 years for at least another minimum 48 months, if not longer. No, not 48. Sorry, that's terrible math. Another 24 months. There's no reason to. None. Zilch. Zero. Many of you, we said it all summer. McDavid was going to sign. We thought he was going to sign short term. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be 12 and a half. I thought the lowest would be, he'd match Draisaitl, which still would have been a bargain. Because Leon Draisaitl now, as the salary cap goes up at 14 mil, looks like a pretty good deal. So I honestly did not think 12.5 was an option, but Connor McDavid said, hey, money is not my focus. Now, he's still making $25 million in the next 2 years. So it's still a pretty good chunk of change. Let's not kid ourselves. But it allows the Oilers more cap space. And as Stan Bowman mentioned earlier today, this contract signing right now really impacts nothing for this season and where they're going right now. Now, maybe at the deadline, because now you know how much Connor McDavid is signed for next season. That could potentially impact a little bit of what they're doing. Because if you look at the Oilers, their cap space right now for next year has 10 forwards, 5 defensemen, and the Jack Campbell. They got basically 15 skaters, and it's $82.2 million. So they've got 10 forwards in McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Frederick, Mangiapane, Podkolzin, Janmark, Savoy, and Howard, Bouchard, Nurse, Emberson, Regula, and the newly signed Jake Walman, who signed a 7-year deal today for $7 million per season. So your top 4 defensemen, only top 3 defensemen, and because I firmly believe that Matthias Ekholm will be signed before the end of this season is over. I think an extension for Ekholm is coming. And right now, like this year, Ekholm and Walman, their combined cap hit was $9.4 million. I think it's probably going to come in around 11 and a half. I think you're going to see Ekholm at 4.5 probably at the most, maybe even less. His family loves it here. He wants to win. And you know what? He's made lots of money. He's about happiness. He's talked about it. His family loves it here. He obviously loves being on the team. And so, you kind of look at the evolution of the team and maybe Ekholm's minutes down the road go down a little bit. So him and Walman kind of swap salaries. Overall, I think they'll be all right. So they'll have their main core of defense. You got McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman. They're top guys. You got some young guys in Savoy and Howard who, we don't know how they're going to be as NHL players yet, but at least they've got some potential with the arrows pointing up. Podkolzin's a young guy. Mangiapane will be in the final year of his deal. Trent Frederick's here for long term. Nugent Hopkins is still under contract for quite a few years. So they've got their main core signed up. Now, goaltending, we'll see how it goes. Stuart Skinner plays like he did in 2024. I'm pretty sure he'll get a contract extension. I know people can't seem to get over 2 bad games in 2024. But regardless, 2024, Stuart Skinner's pretty good. And like a lot of goalies, it's not always an escalator going up. Sometimes it breaks down, sometimes a little bit of a dip, then you go back up, so we'll see. But the Oilers in a really good spot. I think this year at the trade deadline now, if you're looking to acquire a scoring winger, You could maybe be a little bit more confident in acquiring one who's not just a pending UFA. You can acquire one who's got term because you now know what the next few years looks like on a salary cap wise. So that's obviously great news for the Edmonton Oilers. Great news for fans. I would assume most of you were, give me one sentence, maybe 2 words that described your reaction when you heard McDavid or you read that McDavid had signed an extension. And then when you found out what the money was, just 2 words. If you can, right? You know what? I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5 words because you might have an expletive in there because you were excited. But 5 words to describe how you as an Oiler fan felt when you heard the news of McDavid's new contract extension with the Oilers. So we'll discuss that. We'll hear from Stan Bowman. McDavid didn't want a big press conference. He'll talk tomorrow after the skate. Same with Jake Walman. So we'll hear from them tomorrow on the show. Kevin Woodley will be by. There was a lot of goalies placed on waivers. Only one of them was claimed. We'll talk to Woodley about that. Maybe a little surprised by some. Lots of the goalies that people thought would get claimed, none of them got claimed. So what does that say about the goaltending position? I don't know. We'll ask Woodley. Seattle's going to start the season with 3 goalies, Decord, Grubauer, and Matt Murray. How well is that going to go? We'll find out. Sean Brown is back. As a little under the weather, so he'll just join us for one segment today. Then he'll be back full-time next Monday. We'll talk a little MLB. Former Major League Baseball pitcher, analyst now at MLB Network, Jensen Lewis, will be by. Trey Yesavage. Are you kidding me? What a performance by him. What a performance by the Jays starting pitchers on the weekend. And then what about their bats? Are you kidding me? They're just hitting home runs for fun. The Yankees are supposed to be the big Bronx Bombers. And what was it? Guerrero, 2 home runs over the weekend. Kirk, another home run. Springer, a home run. Varsho, 2 home runs. And they dominated. They dominated the Yankees. Those 2 games weren't close. Maybe Buck Martinez was right. We'll see. Series isn't over yet. But there's been since 1994 when they went to a best of 5 in the, that's when the format changed, right? And they went to a division series championship. Guess what? There's been 71 series that have had somebody have a 2-0 lead. The team with the 2-0 lead has won 63 of 71. Not bad. 63-8 in that time. What's that? 88.9%, I think it is. So pretty good. Now, the Yankees are the most recent team to come back. In 2017, they came back from a 2-0 deficit to beat Cleveland, just like the Jays did. Some of you might recall in 2015 when they were down 2-0 to Texas. Remember they lost game 2 in 14 innings. A lot of people thought, it's too much to overcome. You can't do it. Well, they did. So series isn't over. The Jays are in a very good spot, but it is not over. And now Shane Bieber, we'll see to try to pick it up for the Jays tomorrow. It was an upset weekend in the National Football League, some huge upsets in college football. So should anybody ever even consider the college football rankings and take them serious ever again? The number 1 and number 2 and number 4 ranked teams, they're not even in. What are we, 5 weeks into the season? And teams that were ranked 1, 2, and 4 aren't even in the top 25. So maybe, just maybe, people would cool their jets a little bit about the preseason rankings. Because in sports, you never know what can happen. You never know. Right? We got lots of texts because people are already asking, hey, do you think this means Sidney Crosby? I don't know. You know what? Today's not the day to worry about just focus on it. Be happy. Be in the moment. Connor McDavid signed, full stop. Jake Walman signed, full stop. Oilers have lots of their core guys signed for the next few years. You know who your top defense are going to be. You know who your top forwards are. Now it's a matter of adding pieces here and there. What else are they going to need? Now, the other thing is, as long as they stay healthy, the Oilers will be a competitive team in my eyes. And I can say that about any of the top teams. You get wrong injury at the wrong time, and it's not good. It's not good. So, also, Dave Mishkin will be by. How many of you were all of a sudden being like, Jesus, I was kind of looking at highlights of a preseason game? Tampa Bay and Florida. That is a legit rivalry. And I'm telling you, I look at 2 franchises who they put an emphasis on winning. They've created a winning culture in Florida and Tampa Bay. And they've got a lot of guys that, hey, we don't back down. We stick up for one another. That's their culture. Right? Tampa Bay was still mad over Ekblad's hit on Hagel, and they waited. Now, Sabrin, he's not one of their guys, but he's in the organization. And guess what? He's not an idiot. He looks and says, you know what? I want to stay in this team. I'm going to go out there and, hey, I'm going to do something that makes people uncomfortable. Big hit on Ekblad. They got up. He didn't give Ekblad a choice. He just started throwing. And that led to a crazy game. 5 or 6 guys with game misconducts, lots of others with 10-minute misconducts, 5-6 fights in that game. It was now that is what you want to call a brouhaha. It was wild. Talked to my nephew who played in that game. He's like, yeah, man, like there was shifts where it didn't feel like it was hockey. You were just out there. You got to keep your head in the swivel. And that's what it was like. So, you know what? But at the same time, don't kid yourself that the players, the emotion just gets the best of you. You had guys on both sides. They're not big fighters, but guess what? You get caught up in the emotion. You feel like, you know what? I got to show that I'm just as willing as anybody on this team, because both of those organizations, now Kucherov, sure, there's the rare exception, but they're like, no, we're in the mix and we're doing it. And it was not lost on me today if you look at the waiver wire claims. Now, would anybody have thought Curtis Douglas was going to get claimed? How many of you have even heard of Curtis Douglas? And that's not a knock on Curtis. He's never played in the NHL before, right? He's been in the minors for the last few seasons. He was drafted, and he's a behemoth. 6'9", 242-pounder. He's drafted by the Dallas Stars back in the 4th round in 2018. Right? Played in Windsor, had 30 goals, another 27-goal season. Hey, but a big body. Now, in the minors, right, he's physical. He's tough. And after playing, 5 years in the minors, Utah put him on waivers today. And guess who claimed him? The Tampa Bay Lightning. In case you're wondering, boys and girls, you might want to put it in your phone right now. Saturday, November 15th. Panthers, Lightning, first time they meet this season. Make no mistake, that will be a game that lots of people watch. You're going to have some fun sponges try to, you don't want anything bad to happen. The NHL, some guy's going to report, the NHL said to these teams. What do you mean NHL? They're grown men. Is anybody complaining? How many people are like, you know what? I got to leave the rink. I'm going to cancel my season tickets because there's a fight. Not happening. You got lots of guys on both teams that are willing in any weight class. The heavyweights down to the bantamweights. I'm telling you, man, there's one game in November. Then again, they play December 15th. They play December 27th. And then I think their last meeting of the season is on March 5th. Those will be must-watch games. The NHL needs more of them. In a regular season that has over 1,300 NHL games, you have a few that are going to generate a higher emotional connection. Sign me up. I can't wait. We're looking forward to it. And they're good teams. They're really good teams. And they've got a culture there that we stand up for one another. Right? Doesn't matter who it is. You got to get in the fray. You got to get in the mix. And that's awesome. Right? There's different levels. Now, hey, do they have skilled players on both teams? Damn right. They got a lot of skill. But just like I think Oiler fans the younger Oiler fans don't know. When the Oilers were winning games and winning cups, they were also tough as nails. Gretzky and Curry and Anderson. Yeah, when Anderson was cheap with his stick, no question. They'd skill you to death, Messier. But then you wanted to fight, Mark Messier, hands up. Kevin McClellan, Marty McSorley, Dave Semenko, Don Jackson, Steve Smith. Go down the list. They had lots of guys, right? Esa Tikkanen wasn't a shrinking violet, right? Craig Simpson, he didn't back down from anyone, right? Like they had a culture in their team that we played hard. We played skilled, but if you want to take it and play high-level hockey, sign us up. You wanted to play in the trenches, sign me up. And I still am a firm believer that's an element of the game that matters. And you know what? Very quietly, without a lot of fanfare, it's starting to come back. I don't need to see guys play 4 minutes a night and just fight. I don't want that. But I love seeing emotion, man. I absolutely love it. And guess what? Every now and then, there's going to be a cheap shot. And fans complain, except when it's the guy on their team, then you don't have a problem with it. And that's okay. You can be a hypocrite because it's sports. It's not real life. It's not really impacting our lives. Like it's not something that, you know what, if that happens in the NHL rink, that it really impacts our day-to-day life and somehow we're less for it. No, you get fired up, you get emotional. Great. Causes great debates amongst your friends who maybe are fans of the other team. It's awesome. But I'm telling you, the NHL, it's slowly coming back, and I am all here for it. So I asked you about, we got some great text coming in. Boys, my first word, stunned, mostly about the AAV. It's true. Guys, it's going to be pretty hard for anybody to ask for money after Connor's deal. Well, but here's the thing. Everything's separate, right? It never hurts to ask, right? Never hurts to ask. Think about it in your life. Something happened to one of your siblings, and they might have gotten said T-shirt or said whatever. When it came your time, did that stop you to say, I was never going to ask for anything above it? Of course not. Times change. Never hurts to ask. But yes, I think ultimately in McDavid's case, hey, he showed everybody I'm here to win. But he's also like, he's got $125 million over the last 10 years. I think he's doing all right. Right? When this contract's done, that'll be basically a 10 years at $12.5 million. He's doing all right. Guys, for me, it was class act, ultimate leader. Buys my words, babe, get the champagne. Ooh, from Lance. Nice. Hey, Gregor, should we have picked up DiPietro and goal on waivers? Brett, no. Like, how many goalies are you going to have? Right? No team picked him up because like there's a lot of uncertainty around the goalie position to know for sure how good he's going to be. I don't know for sure. They already have got Ingram now. How many goalies are you going to have in the organization? Right? Like they still want their young guys to get some playing time in the ECHL. So no, I wouldn't have done it. I don't think you'd have to have 9 goalies deep in your organization. That's probably a little bit unrealistic. So yeah, no team picked him up. Ellis was the only goalie picked up. So we'll talk to Kevin Woodley about that today. Hey, Gregor, how stupid is Garenfield today? From Jason. Not at all. Jason, there's really no connection. I said it last week on the show. Did I not, Connor Halley? What did I say? When people tell me Kaprizov's reset the market, I'm like, no, he didn't. He set the market for his team and himself. That's it. The salary cap can set the market for people getting raises if they really want it. But every individual player and every individual city is going to be different. Is Jack Eichel now going to sign for $10 million again just because Connor McDavid signed the exact same AAV? I have no idea. But they're all different. Right? Jack Eichel's already won. Right? Connor McDavid is such a unique situation because he desperately wants to win, way more than you want him to win. Right? He does. Because you want him to win and you'll feel, but he's got to live with it. Right? He's the one who lives with all the internal and external pressure about being the greatest player in the game who doesn't have a cup. Right? So trust me, that's a big anvil to carry around. And, you try not to think about it, but I'm sure it's not that easy. So you can only do what you can control. And McDavid can control and say, hey, there's no guarantee every cent of money saved is going to be spent wisely, because you might think it's wise at the time, and then you don't know what happens because no one really knows, like, which, if he saved $4.5 million, so let's say it's 17 mil, how do we know which percentage of that $4.5 mil goes to said players? Like, how much of that went to Jake Walman right away? I have no idea. It's impossible to know. So you just hope the organization, which, by the way, has been in a pretty good spot going to back-to-back finals, they continue down that path. That's it. Cons, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, just dealing with something regarding what, Gregor?
Oh, McDavid, the contract.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Are you paying attention today?
I'm working on this side of things. I love it. And like you said, the $12.5 million, first thought, I guess it'd be just like my jaw hitting the ground. Like I thought for sure he's going to come in at around, $15 to $17 million. But I really think that shows what he is saying to the team, the organization. Like, okay, guys, I'll pull a Brady. I'll leave a little cap space for you to go out there and improve this team and add wherever it might be. Maybe it's a shooting winger. Maybe it's another goalie, whatever it might be. Use this money and do something. We've got 3 years. That's all we're going to worry about. And what can we do in that time frame? I thought it was fantastic. The timing of it, glad they got it done before the season, because even though, he had said, it's not a distraction and, for us to be players, if you can't handle it, what are you doing? I still think it would have hung over the team. So I do think that it is important that they took care of business and got it done before the season started. But yeah, that number threw me off. The term, not at all. I kind of had expected 2 to 3 years. That's what you'd been saying. That's what a lot of people had been saying. But hearing that $12.5 million, continuing on what he had from his previous contract, I couldn't believe that one at all. And that's a blessing for Stan Bowman and his staff. Now use that money properly.
Wow. Again, how do you know where to use it, what to use it? How much of it went to Jake Walman? I don't know. Like, we say, okay, we're going to take out $400K went to Walman, $500K extra went to Walman. I have no idea. So that's what makes it fascinating to discuss kind of how do you spend it wisely, what deems spending wisely. We'll take a quick break. Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com will join us. We'll talk goaltending. Is he surprised only one goalie was claimed on waivers and who the goalie was? That and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost.
1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Ruda.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Looking for an all-season vehicle with room for the hockey gear, comfort for the daily commute, and rugged capability for your weekend adventures? That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it during the biggest sale of the year this month at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep, it's a 4x4, and it's loaded with standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats, all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets. Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Is the Monday afternoon. Oilers Nation pretty excited with the news of Connor McDavid, 2-year extension. Jake Walman, a 7-year extension. David's at 12.5. Walman is at 7 mil. And the Oilers, I think Walman signed an extension. McDavid signed an extension. Chris Knobloch has signed an extension. Pod Colson signed an extension. So really, you look at it, the only guys on the team that I think you got Matthias Ekholm, and I firmly believe that Matthias Ekholm will sign a contract extension. I think his AAV is going to come in lower than what he's currently at. His total AAV is 6.25, remember, because Nashville's retained $250K, but he's been $6 million on the books in Edmonton. His next contract won't be that high. I think it's probably going to be around, 3.5 to 4.5, 4.5 probably at the high end. I don't even know if it'll be that high. So, you got Kulak's a UFA at the end of the season, and see what they can do the way he's playing at the right AV. I'm sure they'd consider him. Kasperi Kapanen, 1.3. Henrique's contract is done at the end of the year. I think he's probably someone, this would be his final year in Edmonton. If he finishes a whole year or not. And then, other guys like Noah Phil, Curtis Lazar, league minimum guys at $775. And if they play well, you can sign him. It's not like it's going to be a massive increase. Tomasic's the one player. Now, we haven't even seen him yet, but he's on a 1-year deal, and we'll see how he plays. His next deal, if he plays well, would obviously come in a little bit higher than the 1.2 mil that he carries right now. But there was not just the order signings. There's lots of stuff going on around the NHL. Lots of players put on waivers, but ultimately not many of them were actually claimed. There was a few, including one goalie. And we'll get to that now as we get to our big guest of the day. Brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. Innovative market leader in sports, WHL Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Thunderbirds, of course, the Saints, HSL, and more. Always looking to grow hockey. That's Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Kevin, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. Big Seattle Thunderbirds news here in Vancouver with Braden Coots making the team to start the season as a 18-year-old picked 15th overall. It doesn't happen very often. The last time there was an 18-year-old in this market on the opening night roster was a guy named Nedved in 1990. So it's been a few years.
Ooh, Peter. Nice. Now, Coots, I'm sure people in Sherwood Park are pretty fired up today, as they should be. So congratulations to the Coots family and all his friends. Because, man, your buddy is going to play an NHL game. Like, when it's a childhood friend of yours, guys are so jacked up over. Like, everybody knows you kind of have a small circle of really good childhood friends that you've had. And so Coots has a few of those guys, and I'm sure they will be amped up. But probably, good buddies will be looking to find ways to see, hey, when's Vancouver's playing in Edmonton on Saturday night. Imagine that. He could play his second NHL game in Edmonton, and I can guarantee you there's a lot of people in Sherwood Park looking for tickets right now.
I wonder how many might make the trip out here, because Thursday night is against the Calgary Flames, so a provincial rival. And let me tell you, there are tickets available for the Canucks season opener.
Ooh, all right. Actually, speaking of tickets, we have home opener tickets, very special ones that we're going to auction off coming up, but we'll tell you that right after this. Now, Kev, let's get into it. There was quite a few goalies, DiPietro, Dawes, Capo Caco, Ellis that were on the waiver wire. Were you surprised that only one got claimed, and then you were surprised which one got claimed?
Well, I mean, are we talking about Caden Primo? Or are we talking?
Primo got claimed, yeah, and Ellis, right? So sorry, two.
So, and where did I miss the Ellis one? I apologize. I've been on interviews all morning, so I missed that one. So Ellis goes to.
Didn't he go to? Am I dreaming that he went to St. Louis?
Ellis is in St. Louis.
From St. Louis. I don't even know what. I don't even know who claimed him now.
There we go. So listen, and I believe Carolina also claimed somebody. So there's a bit of musical chairs there. Maybe thinking you're going to lose Primo, you pick somebody else. Because when I first saw the Carolina one. Anyways, at the end of the day, this is about depth. This is about teams reorganizing their depth. Primo in Toronto is probably about, what's going on with Joseph Woll, and curious to see what, obviously I don't know. But the longer this lasts with him being away from the team, you start to hear rumblings that this might be longer term thing. And so
Buffalo got Ellis.
There you go. And that one confuses me unless there's more injuries. But even with injuries, this is a team that had Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Alex Lyon, signed Alexander Georgiev, and has Devin Levi. So that one also leaves me scratching my head. Even with a Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen injury, you still have Lyon, you still have Georgiev, and you still have Levi. So maybe depth in the American Hockey League, but when you claim a guy, you got to keep him. So ultimately, let's see where this sorts out. A lot of times these are insurance policy claims. I think at the end of the day, the Oilers made their big move last week.
Yes.
And it would have been fascinating to see if they would have been active today if they hadn't. And I want to sort of but just sort of follow up our conversation about Connor Ingram, because obviously there's a lot of upside there. And we talked about that. And the reality of the numbers is his, best year and a half stretch is slightly better than the Oilers goalies have managed to put up in the last couple of years. But a lot of people took that as a rip job on the two guys that they have right now, and it really wasn't intended that way. It was more about the excitement of what you can get in Connor Ingram if you get him back and playing at his best. Like, his best over that year and a half wasn't heads and shoulders above Stuart Skinner's best. It was just slightly above, as we talked about. But I think a lot of people took it as a harsh criticism of the two they have, and that certainly wasn't the way it was intended, at least based on the feedback I got on social media.
Okay. Now, Colton Ellis, if you look at his numbers in the American League the last few seasons, 922, 924, those are pretty solid numbers, right? He's you know what? He's 24 years of age. What can you tell us about Ellis? And is this Buffalo maybe saying, hey, we think this guy's better than other people think, and so we're bringing him in? Or is there more at play here?
There might be something to that as well. Like, Colton Ellis is a guy that, you know, having conversations with some of the people that have been a part of that development has really been exceptional for them. And they like the steps he took. And I heard he had a good camp. And so, you know, there may be some of that. Hey, like, sometimes you find guys that you believe have more upside that deserve to be above the American Hockey League, regardless of what your depth chart looks like. And Ellis might be one of those guys. Like, there's no sort of NHL track record that I get to dig into. I can't look into the numbers, and, you know, like we did with Ingram when he was in Nashville before he got claimed by Arizona, that it may have been tiny, but there was a sample there. I don't have that with Colton Ellis. All I have is sort of anecdotal from people I trust. And there's a goalie there. What I don't know is it a guy who's ready to pop now? Is it a guy who, you know, might need a little more time to get up to the pace? I don't have those answers, but I do know that they're probably really disappointed in St. Louis to lose him, because it sounds like he's fought through a bunch of things to sort of have those two great seasons, put up good numbers, and be on the upwards trajectory.
So when you look at the goalies, like Brandon Bussi was claimed, you know, and none of his numbers, even at the American League level, other than like with Boston 2 years ago, none of them jump off the page for you at all, but he gets claimed. He's 27. Are you surprised when you look at all the goalies claimed, like, about DiPietro? Because there was lots of talk, DiPietro and even Dawes potentially in New Jersey. Right now, every organization is going to be different, but, you know, Caden Primo has a little bit more NHL experience, so maybe that plays into it. But what do you make of the guys who were claimed compared to the guys who weren't claimed?
Yeah, the Bussi versus DiPietro one's a little hard to wrap your head around. It's not a criticism of Bussi, because 2 years ago, like, his first year pro was remarkable. And sometimes when a guy has a season like that soon, you think the upside is just development. It's rarely linear, but you see upside there and you think it's going to be. And maybe somebody looked at that year, invested heavily in scouting him that year, and thought there's more upside here. But the reality is he lost the job in Boston to Michael DiPietro, who was the American Hockey League Goalie of the Year, and he goes unclaimed. Could a tough preseason be enough to sway somebody versus what he did for the entire year in the American Hockey League the year before? Possible. But those are ones that they're a little harder to answer. Sometimes, like you said, like Caden Primo might be a pedigree thing, right? Drafted higher up. There's some brand recognition there. He's got a taste in the National Hockey League. 2 years ago, had a really good season in the National Hockey League. So, you know, I think just as there are a lot of different ways to evaluate goaltenders, there are a lot of teams that do it differently. Some might have some analytics on Caden Primo that look really good. Others might have, you know, scouted more heavily a guy like Ellis or a guy like Bussi and see something they believe fits into their system or the way they teach their goaltenders really well. It's really hard to tell sort of, you know, and who's claiming guys just as insurance policies and who's claiming guys like Ellis is the one that I look at and I'm like, this is probably more than insurance policy. This is probably a team that thinks he's got some long-term upside and they want to get in on him, versus other ones where it might be just, hey, our depth isn't what we want it to be. We've got some question marks at the NHL level. Let's plug a gap here and see what happens long-term.
Okay. Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Seattle opting to go with the always exciting three goalies: Decord, Grubauer, Matt Murray. How do you think it's going to work?
I'm curious to see. I talked to you about Grubauer being a guy who, after getting sent to the American Hockey League, despite his contract last year, really popping coming back, like really playing well. And for whatever reason, you know, it may just be like, I'm looking at it two ways. One, do you take away from that? because now are you splitting starts in the backup role, or is this all about managing practice? Like, there's part of me that doesn't love not rewarding him for how he bounced back last season and giving him a chance to show he can be that guy again. And then there's another part of me that's like, they need to make sure they don't play the wheels off Joey Daccord, which is something when they've done the previous 2 seasons, play him a ton early on and then have him fade down the stretch. Now the team fades in front of him as well as the playoffs become a pipe dream as the year goes on in Seattle the past 2. And so there's a little bit of him and a little bit of them, but regardless, they haven't gotten him to the finish line at his best. Does having 3 allow you to do like the Minnesota Wild did all those years ago with Devin Dubnyk, rest him in practices in a condensed schedule and get more games out of him at a time when other teams are not able to get as many games out of their number one? Like, I am fascinated. Practice goalies and mandated e-bugs traveling with the team doesn't start till next season under the new CBA. But this is the year you need to mitigate the effects of practice. And like, the reality is you can play 2 games in a practice. As much as we're worried about the, goalies not playing too much and not being able to play 65 games, like, physically you can play 2 games in a practice in terms of the number of times you drop into the butterfly, the number of times you go into your post. Mentally, the tax isn't the same, but physically the tax is high. So are some teams, Hellebuck talking to Dan Rosen at NHL.com about he thinks guys should be able to play 70 games if you manage your practices properly. In a condensed season, are the Seattle Kraken ahead of the curve here in terms of being able to manage? That year that Dubnyk played, 50 straight games or 35 straight games, something absurd like that after arriving in Minnesota, he told us he'd go on the ice, he'd get his work in with the goalie coach, he'd take a couple of rush drills just to sort of be around the team and get a feel for the pace and the feel of rush, and then he'd get off. And so the rest of those practices were Darcy Kemper and Nicholas Backstrom. And he didn't have to waste all those reps, all those butterfly drops, all those transition pushes into the post that add fatigue physically, that put a toll on your body. He didn't have to do any of them. And he was able to play every night for them. So, can we still learn lessons from that? I would suggest it's easier if you've got 3 NHL goalies on your roster than it is if you don't, even with a practice goalie, because the shooters don't want to be shooting on some guy who hasn't played since university, or he's the backup equipment manager and he played 20 years. Like, they don't want that. They want NHL goalies in that. This might be the best way to get both. And so we'll see how they manage it. The goalies will hate it. They never like it. Jake Allen will tell you about his experience in Montreal when they were running 3 goalies. There were times, back-to-backs, they would take the goalie starting the second end of the back-to-back, not dress him, fly him to the next city ahead of the team, so that he wasn't arriving at 4 a.m. He'd already been sleeping since 10 p.m., like watch the game, go to bed. Like, there are ways to use this to your advantage, and yet the goalies still dislike it heavily.
Yeah, they're probably, they're not flying on a charter when they got to go ahead by themselves.
I'm pretty sure they're still at the front of the plane.
Yeah, it's if the front of the plane has first class. So we'll see Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Kev, I was looking around the league and, obviously a goaltender, which, like, Jeremy Swayman's one that I think comes up in the can he bounce back category. I would put Stuart Skinner, because I thought Stuart Skinner's 2024 season was a lot better than some people think when I look at all the numbers. Like, he, in the 50 games under Knobloch, he was 4th, 7th, and 8th in save percentage, goals against average, and saves above expected. Like,
we're talking 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2024.
100%. After the coach, we talked about that after the coaching change. Like, that's why when I compare just strictly by the numbers, that's the peak I compare of Stuart Skinner to what Ingram did for that year and a half. And they're not too dissimilar. Ingram's was just slightly higher, but yeah, that, like, Ingram was top 10 and Stuart was flirting with it that year in the clear sight numbers. A lot of that, again, defensive environment. So the clear sight numbers aren't quite as high as some of the numbers you have. I think they do a better job of measuring just how damn good that defensive environment was. But Stuart Skinner was full value, and we talked about that. It's just he didn't back it up last year.
Yeah,
and
which happens for non-elite goalies. Like, people still think, like, Stuart Skinner's never been paid to be elite. He hasn't been an elite goalie, and he was good enough to get them to the Stanley Cup final twice. Can he be more consistent? 1,000%. But I look at him; he's got to have a bounce back year. 25 wasn't as good as 24. It's a fact.
Yep.
Jeremy Swayman had a terrible 25 compared to the previous years. Any other goalies you see that are in the need a bounce back category?
I've actually got a guy who needs to not bounce back the other way. And it actually might be one of the contract discussions that you may be having in Edmonton. Contract signed this week, and with Stuart Skinner being one of the ones that needs to get done in Edmonton. And you talk about elite from one year to the next. Philip Gustafsson, who signs a contract, a 5-year extension that kicks in next year, will make him the 11th highest goalie in the league at 6.8 cap hit, or the 11th highest cap hit. Over his 3 seasons in Minnesota, he's been 6th in goals saved above expected by ClearSight, which is under almost 42 goals. And his adjusted save percentage amongst the goalies to face at least 1,000 shots is 5th. But it's very much a tale of every second season. First season in Minnesota, lights out. Second season, slightly below league average. Last season, lights out. In those 2 years, last season and 3 years ago, number 1 in the NHL in adjusted save percentage and goals saved above. Number 1, ahead of even Hellebuck in those 2 seasons. But he was down below expected his last year in Ottawa. And so is this like a Craig Anderson situation where like every second year he's brilliant and then in the years in between he's average? So he needs to continue. And if he does, if this isn't going to be an every second year thing, and we've seen that happen, I can't explain it. It falls under the goalies are voodoo thing. Like, I don't know how a guy can be dominant one year and league average the next or slightly below it. But is this a pattern or was that a blip 2 years ago? No. If it's a pattern, you're still getting the 6th best goalie in the league by the numbers over the course of time for the 11th highest cap hit. If it's a blip and you get that guy year over year, you're now getting one of the best goalies in the league. And there's no more Marc-Andre Fleury as a security blanket, but you're now getting one of the best goalies in the league for the 11th highest cap hit. So that's one I've got my eye on. And one, again, we talk about elite goalies and consistency. In his good years, Gustafsson plays at an elite level. But when every second year is below league average, this is probably why he didn't get paid higher. So really fascinating to look at that one. And, the other thing that gets lost in the Skinner conversation, I think unfairly at times, is we forget the cost of going to the Stanley Cup final. And the fact that when he did it the first time, he didn't really know how to approach his next offseason. He got a bunch of different advice, and some he listened to, some he might not have. And at the end of the day, he had to learn how to manage that. A lot of goalies do. I think he'll be better for this one. I think he's made some changes here. They've made the goalie coaching change. We'll see if the positional stuff simplifies things for him. I think he's working. I know he's talked to you guys in the media in Edmonton about sort of the weight and dropping some of the weight. Last guy that I saw in double digits was to lose weight was Bobrovsky. That amount of weight. I know he's doing some new things in terms of vision and sort of his tracking and working on that. So I'm excited to see what he can do this year. Because like you said, 2 years ago, the second half of the season, second 2/3 of the season after Knoblauch came in, you're right. He was up there flirting with the top 10 in the National Hockey League. And if you get that guy this year, then I like the chances in Edmonton, obviously, of maybe even doing it again.
Well, it'll be fun, Kev. We got some games to talk to about with next Monday, so we look forward to that. Have a good week.
Thanks, Jason.
Kevin Woodley from Go Magazine and NHL.com. So what's exciting about it, there's lots of unpredictability about the games, but man, when it comes to that goalie position, if I ask you right now, which 10 goalies do you think? And if we're using Woodley's numbers, right, which isn't save percentage, right? So part of its environment, which plays a factor into it, no debate, right? So that's the other thing. You can't just look at a goalie and say, wow, look at his numbers compared to goalie A and goalie B. But if goalie A has the same numbers as B, but B faces way harder shots, is B better? We'll never know. And then if they move into that exact same position, we can project and guess that we think they'll put up the same numbers. But you never know. Because I'll say this. If you play on a team, Marty Brodeur was great at staying sharp without a lot of shots. Other goalies are like, I can't function that way. I want to be feeling the puck more often. So there are different skill sets at different times. Quick break. We'll come back. We got Stan Bowman explaining the Connor McDavid and Jake Walman signings and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can text us 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Yeah, can I get a... yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie. Now at McDonald's.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money.
Fluent?
Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy round black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
250, welcome back, man. Some things never change. You wish they could. You really do wish that they would change for the positive at some times for certain teams, certain fan bases, certain organizations. But Connor Halley is sitting in the corner in the fetal position as he reads that Omarion Hampton is now on injured reserve, means he's out at least 4 games due to an ankle injury. It's an organization, Cons. Like, I don't know if you guys have sacrificed a chicken or something, but the injuries always seem to mount to key guys for the Chargers.
Chargers and Niners. Gregor, I was so rattled yesterday. I might take a week off from Chargers football.
Yeah, that was a terrible game.
So if anybody's got ideas for plans, Sunday, 11 a.m., maybe I'll go out. Because I got to get away from it. It's not good for my mental health anymore. Like, I've never rooted for a guy to get cut. But Marlowe Wax, next bus out of LA, man. What are you doing running into the punter? Even if Ladd McConkey doesn't return it, they still get the ball back in good field position. You make a stupid play, you cost the team. Snip, snip. Trey Pipkins, you're next. I was very rattled.
Yeah, I watched that. So I'm like, oh, they're up 10-0. They're going to take care of business. And then they don't score another point and give up 27. Ouch.
In the last 3 games, Justin Herbert's been pressured 81 times. Last season, Josh Allen was pressured 80 times. Yeah. So
wow, that is an unreal stat.
Yeah, draft offensive lineman. It's a great strategy if they stay healthy.
Oh my God, that is wild.
Yeah. It's not good. It's really not good.
Ooh.
Hence me thinking maybe I just as low as Hull. Is that a nice area? Maybe I'll take a walk.
But it's an unreal place actually to go walking.
That might
love
be
it.
it then.
Oh, little Benny would love it. Man.
Yeah,
Get him out
absolutely.
there. Get walking. It's fantastic. Let's go in the room now. Brought to you by Action Electrical, 53rd year in business. One of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta, and they are hiring 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year electricians. You're looking for a great gig at a fantastic company. Huge sports fans, by the way. Average golfers, though, but everything else is great. Trust me, if you're a good golfer, you'll probably get hired right away and get promoted quickly because they want their golf tournament to get better. But apply today, careers at actionelectrical.net. Tell them we sent you. We'll give you a good recommendation. Stan Bowman. Today, I would think, had to be pretty excited. And first of all, I just asked him about, the uniqueness of this contract in the fact that he had mentioned prior to the last 24 hours, they never really talked about salary and term the entire time.
Yeah, in my experience, it's usually in every negotiation, it's a factor of the term and the salary. Those are the two things. And then once you get agreement on that, you talk about the structure, you talk about other things. But I would say in every other negotiation, it's focused on the money. So this was it was really an unprecedented type situation. And it was really trying to get Connor to a comfort level where this felt right. And I said from the beginning, I don't know when it's going to be, but Connor's going to, when it feels right to him, then he's going to make his mind up. So in the process of those discussions, then it's my job to just have conversations and talk to him and explain things and understand what he has to say. And, I'm not here to share what those conversations are, but I had a number of really good conversations with him. And it was never once about term or dollars. So it's extremely unusual. But the circumstances are unusual. I mean, Connor's such a special player and special guy and leader that I think this situation called for probably a different approach.
It's it's a shorter term. So does the shorter term from McDavid, which, let's be honest, we've been talking about this for months. If anybody's listening to our show, they know I was saying, 3-year deal probably is what seemed realistic. It ended up going with 2, which is still 3 more seasons because he's got 1 year left. But does the shorter term alter Bowman's game plan at all? No. Did it freeze up on you, Cons?
Somewhat happened there.
Ready now?
Not quite.
All right. Well, there you go. 833.
Knee and pressure, not going very well right now.
No, what are you, Chargers offensive lineman right now? Holy cow. Justin Herbert just got under pressure, getting pressured all the time. Not really working for you. So just yell in my ear when you're ready. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, perhaps Halley needs advice in the Seinfeld episode I watched yesterday. Serenity Now. Oh, yeah. Does he ever? Hey, guys, speaking of the fetal position like Connor, half the Toronto media is home fetal position, reminding themselves he can't get out of there. Yeah, well, honestly, Gordo, why anybody in Toronto realistically thought Connor McDavid was going to sign there right now was they're delusional. It made no sense. None. And now I know, I saw people already, hey, Austin Matthews' contract expires at the same time of Connor McDavid's. Okay, great. What does one have to do with the other? Yeah, they have the same agent. That's really where the comparison ends. You think McDavid's going to be like, you know what? I couldn't win with Leon. Let's see if I can go win with Austin Matthews. Honestly, think that's going to be his thought process? I don't think so. And that's if the Oilers could easily win once in the next 3 years. So Here's Stan Bowman talking about does the shorter 2-year term alter his plan at all?
Yeah, no, it doesn't change anything at all for me. I mean, it's not like we're planning out 5 years from now to be a team that might be able to win the cup. And, no, our focus last year was to win. Our focus this year is to win. So this doesn't change anything. I think my conversations with Connor are just about, he's curious. He likes to know, like what's coming and what the thoughts are and how I see the team and how we can get better. I mean, it's all very good discussions, good dialogue back and forth. Yeah, he's a very smart guy in addition to being an amazing player. Like he's got a lot of good ideas, and that's why it's fun to talk hockey with him.
Well, and we'll hear from Connor tomorrow. He didn't want to have a big press conference. He's just like, hey, you know what? Signing a contract. Clearly the feeling, he got the feeling on October 4th. All right, you know what? I've had training camp. I've had a few preseason games. I'm ready to go. That's obviously what it was. And lastly, about we also I asked Stan Bowman about Jake Walman. That's a big deal. 7 years, $7 million AAV, and how excited he is to not only keep him in Edmonton, but keep him in Edmonton for a long time.
Yeah, very excited. Had a great chat with Jake when he came in today to sign it, and he's pumped. Yeah, that process has gone on for a while, and it was a situation of trying to, work in with our structure, but also reward Jake for not only his current play, but his position in the landscape. I mean, when you have a year left in your deal, you're probably trying to navigate what's my value going to be if I sign, if I don't sign, what's the market going to look like? There's a lot of, I guess, predictions or a lot of guesswork in that. But in my conversations with Jake, it reminded me of like when we traded for him, and I talked to him about coming to Edmonton, and we really believe in him as a player, and we think this is going to be a great opportunity. And we don't look at this as a 1-year situation. Like right when that first conversation I had with him, I said, we see you as a player that can help us and be a part of this in the future. And, obviously that's something that players, I think, like to hear, and they like to understand their role, not only in the current group, but in the future. And I think he was a great fit for our team. He came in and he really changed the complexion of our D, and it kind of made everyone just fit in their spots just right. And I think I was really impressed with his ability, and super competitive guy. I wasn't, until we got him on our team, didn't realize how much of a warrior he was. I mean, he blocks shots all the time. He's very competitive, physical. He's got that competitive side. And on top of that, he's such a great skater. He's really effortless stride. So his mobility is really good. He's got a big shot. He's comfortable playing on the right side, which was something that, we're looking for. It's always great to have a lot of right-handed defensemen, but if you have a guy that's comfortable playing there, and I think, he's an offensive weapon when he's on the right side, because he's got that one-timer. And he just gives us a threat offensively beyond just Ekholm and Bouchard. Now we've got, along with him and Nurse, we've got 4 guys that they can all make plays. Jake and Darnell are great skaters, big guys, strong. So when you add that all up, it's a very big piece of the current team, and also going forward. I believe having a strong defense is very important to your long-term success for a team, especially when you have some offensive forwards that are very talented. If you can support them with guys that are comfortable with the puck, but not such one-way players that they can't dig in and play in their own end. And I think Jake checked all those boxes. So very happy that he believed in us and he wanted to be here.
Well, he clearly did, and good for Walman. You look at the Oilers' defense core; it's pretty solid. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Walman, Brett Kulak, You got Regula, you got Emberson, you going Stetcher, 3 guys kind of battling. And hey, look for Regula. He's gonna play with Nurse tomorrow night. Walman, or not tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Walman not going to be ready. Probably had a little bit of a setback, so we'll see how serious it is or not. And that's the only kind of concern with the Walman deal is his health. He's a guy who's missed game. Now, if he misses 15 games in the regular season but plays all the time in the playoffs, you'll be fine with it. But yeah, you just want, as long as he's available in the playoffs, then it won't be that much of an issue. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Buy a new vehicle and you can help feed families. Their goal is to help 500 families, and they're very close to doing it. They extended the deal into October. For every truck sold, Northgate feeds a family of 4. See all their vehicles at northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Hey, somehow missed the Edmonton Oilers and captain Connor McDavid agreeing to a 2-year contract extension worth $25 million. McDavid will carry the same $12.5 million cap hit on his current deal, 8 years, $100 million that he signed back in 2017. The team also signed defenseman Jake Walman to a 7-year deal with an AAV of $7 million. Walman was acquired from San Jose ahead of the trade deadline, appearing in 37 games, including the postseason for the Oilers last year, totaling 3 goals, adding 15 assists. The Oilers will kick off their season Wednesday night, hosting the Flames just after 8 o'clock. Major League Baseball action today. You've got Game 2 of the NLDS between the Phillies and the Dodgers. First pitch, 4:08. LA up 1-0 in that one. And then at 7:08, Cubbies will try to even up their series with the Brewers, currently down 1-0. And in the NFL tonight, Week 5 wraps up in Jacksonville with the Jags hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff set for 6:15. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from former Oilers defenseman John Brown, former Major League Baseball pitcher Jensen Lewis, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
How are you?
Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th
Gregor
versus
Show
the
present.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at
Oilers
goelks.com.
Nation.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling.
You really
Feel
do
free to
wish that
bundle
they
by
would change for the
bundling. Then you can
positive
use
at some
hot,
time.
Cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat.
Back,
turn
man.
up the
Some
cold to the vent, start
things
pushing out
never.
tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh yeah, save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Fall into savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock on a lovely Monday afternoon. Oiler fans very excited, as they should be. Connor McDavid, if you're just joining us, has signed a 2-year contract extension that begins next season. So 3 more years minimum for Connor McDavid in Oilers uniform. It comes with a no movement clause and the exact same $12.5 million AAV. They've also signed Jake Walman to a 7-year extension that begins next season as well. So his contract will end the same time Leon Draisaitl's contract ends, because Draisaitl's in the first year of an 8-year deal right now. Walman gets an AAV of $7 million. I think you'll see him and Ekholm kind of swap AAVs, right? Ekholm was 6 this year. Walman's 3.4. Next year, Walman will be 7. And I think you'll see Ekholm around the $4 million range, plus or minus a little bit. That's likely what I see happening for Matthias Ekholm. I know his family wants to stay here, and that's a good thing. Team's competitive. There you go. The Lightning, Sabrin was suspended 4 games for roughing Aaron Ekblad. So tough for him, but he gets a 4-game suspension. That's just coming down out of from the NHL hockey ops, and that was a wild game. Well, actually, both games, if you saw it Thursday and Saturday, very physical. That's a legit rivalry. I would say right now that might be the best rivalry in the NHL. You've got teams who they've won in the last 6 years. They've won 4 of the Stanley Cups. So they're Tampa won 2. Then Colorado, Vegas, now Florida's won 2. So they each have gone back. The last 6 years, they've represented the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay the first 3 years, Florida the last 3 years. So they met in the playoffs a few times. It is a legit rivalry, and it's awesome. It is a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. 833-401-1440. That's where you can text us. PlayAlberta.ca. That's where, hey, some numbers you want to get into the game. Instance, lottery, live dealer, sports, casino, and more. Try it all in one place. Online at PlayAlberta.ca, or even easier to access on the app. Good luck. As it's time now for the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto, where if you're looking for a vehicle, they got the best selection, over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. Whatever tickles your fancy, they will have. And also, they've got 28 new vehicle brands in 69 locations. Stop in anywhere, look it up, goauto.ca. I would recommend the Jeep Cherokee. Pretty nice. As we welcome in back for another hit, although it's preseason, clearly formed, a little under the weather, Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
To be honest with you, Gregor, I felt better, but you know what? It has been a while, and I'm happy to be back.
Oh, well, you can hear the sickness. I'm happy you didn't come in studio and get us all sick. So thank you for staying away. What's your reaction to the big news today of Jake Walman signing a 7-year extension?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's exciting, obviously, for him, for the Oilers. He's obviously a guy that complements all the skilled guys on their team, McDavid, Draisaitl. I mean, players that can move the puck, make that first pass and also have the second option ability. They're hard to find. So it's good for Jake Walman to find a place where he feels comfortable and kind of can settle in, and hopefully, obviously, he's going to get healthy here. But, when you have the talented forwards that the Oilers do, you need talented defensemen to make sure that they're getting the pucks in the right spot. So it's a good fit.
Yeah, he can play both sides, right? It's a little, it secures their back end, right? You got Bouchard, you got Nurse, you've got Walman long term. I know Ekholm needs a new contract, but I think he'll get one. And I know it's early on. We haven't seen him in the regular season, Brownie, but young Regula's had a pretty solid training camp for a guy who hasn't played hockey in over 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to catch. I got one of the exhibition games in there, Vancouver, and exhibition is obviously different. You've talked about it. Everyone's talked about, the different seasons, and exhibition being one of them. And, now that the real bullets are going to start to fly, we're going to see what he's about in the regular season. But he's definitely done enough to put himself in this position. And now it's just, continuing to build off of a good preseason and kind of just getting acclimatized to what the regular season is all about. Because when you get into the regular season, we all know that every shift matters, details, mistakes. It becomes such a mental game at that point. So, but he's done everything, and hopefully he can take advantage of the fact everyone needs an opportunity or a break in their career. And maybe with Walman being a little bit banged up, this is the break that he needs.
Sean Brown joins us. And then, of course, that other guy, one number up from Jake Walman, number 97, signed a 2-year extension today. I'm not surprised at all. I've been saying he was going to sign. No one knew when he was going to sign. He basically said it was going to be a feeling, and obviously the feeling was right. I am surprised that the AAV stayed exactly the same. I thought, I'd heard some rumblings. I was like, well, I could see him saying, I'll just go with Leon's. It's no big deal. But he sticks at 12.5. He's already made $100 million. He's going to make another 25 minimum on these next 2 years, and not to mention, other stuff that he does outside of hockey. But clearly, Brownie, he's like, hey, I'm trying to give myself the best chance to be on a competitive team for the next 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I wasn't quite sure exactly how this was going to play out. Obviously, everyone's talking about it and sharing their opinions. And, I didn't expect them to take that amount to basically stay at the same average. But, it goes to show that this guy's special, not only as a hockey player. We've all seen the videos and listened to him talk about, what it means to win and what it means to win in Edmonton and bring a Stanley Cup and the importance that how important that is to him. And now he's just backing it up. Like I don't know, for as long as I've been playing, I don't know if I've heard or seen a guy, go to this extreme, in the prime of his career, to sign a 2-year deal at that discount. It just speaks volumes to what the Stanley Cup actually means. And I think it's probably good to, us as Oiler fans, obviously he wants to know what direction the Oiler organization is going, their plan. And he's obviously heard enough that he wanted to sign here. He wanted to be there. So that's, it's a lot of confidence that I think as fans we should feel too, that he feels confident that they got all the right pieces here, and they're that much closer to getting their chances to win a Stanley Cup.
Well, you can't get much closer than they have the last 2 seasons, no question. And obviously that's what they're looking to just keep improving. And you look at their lineup, we kind of know the Oilers have submitted what their day one roster is going to be. Tomasic and Howard were sent down. They'll be recalled tomorrow after Zach Hyman gets placed on LTIR, and then James Hamlin will be reassigned back down to Bakersfield. We'll see Tomasic and Howard likely both make their NHL debut tomorrow on Wednesday night. Matt Savoy is going to be in the lineup. Regula is going to be in the lineup. So they got some young guys, and Stan Bowman talked about it that, we don't have a lot of top 10 picks, but we have different ways in scouting to go out there and insert some younger guys in the lineup. Now, the younger guys won't be 18 or 19, but that's good because rarely do you invest 18 and 19-year-olds in your lineup to win, right? You invest 18 and 19-year-olds in a lineup that you hope can win down the road.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Howard does. I mean, coming out of school, this is a big jump, right? I mean, Savoy's been in the American Hockey League. He's been up and down. He's had a little bit more experience. I'd say he's probably a little bit more ready to me for the opportunity. But it'll be interesting to see that Howard, once he gets into the lineup, the pace, like I said, I mean, mistakes and details are obviously magnified more in the regular season than they are in preseason. So it'll be a little bit of a mental grind and just, the overall grind of an NHL schedule. But yeah, I mean, they got some young guys that, you know, the opportunity is there. It's exciting. I think it's exciting for Oiler fans. It's exciting, you know, to see how there's lots of storylines that are going to kind of play out. Who's going to step up? You know, is Draisaitl, McDavid, are they going to, you know, eventually run their own line? And, you know, it's, you know, how's Stuart Skinner how's the goaltending going to kind of play out? So yeah, they got lots of, it'll be interesting when it all starts in the regular season to see, you know, who's going to step up and, you know, add value to their game.
Sean Brown joined the Sports 1440. Brownie, the Oilers in a good start. They've talked about it. You know, they've wanted it in the preseason. They really didn't give up a ton of chances in very many of their games. So I think defensively they've got things down, but their penalty kill still seems to be a work in progress. Right now they've switched it from last season. It's a little bit more passive at times, probably a little bit more of a traditional box. And we know that McDavid and Draisaitl are likely going to be like a third pair on the penalty kill at times. Doesn't sound like Henrique's going to be on the penalty kill. Doesn't sound like Podkolzin's going to be on the penalty kill to start. You know, you're going to see Matt Savoy. You're going to see Nugent Hopkins. Kasperi Kapanen, I think because of his speed, is going to be on the penalty kill. What do you make of the PK? And for them, like, they don't have to lead the league, but they got to find a way to at least be 80%.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're changing it up. And, you know, that's one thing that, you know, Knobloch has had a great deal of success of doing since he's been here. He's had a real understanding of the pulse of his team and where guys are at, and how to move guys in and out of the lineup and move guys throughout, you know, whether it's PK or at different lines. So, you know, he's obviously seen something here in training camp with different guys. And, you know, you bring up Kapanen. I mean, he's a big body. He's another interesting player that, you know, has the potential to play up and down the line. I think he's a big guy with skill, can skate, can be physical, you know, so if he can add this and be consistent, you know, that's a real asset to the Oilers. But to getting off to a good start, I mean, the key is, you know, it's PK is tough, right? I mean, you got to do a lot of things that a lot of guys wouldn't be necessarily willing to do. And that's blocking shots, which is probably, you know, it's a big ask, but that's what the good PKs do. And so for the Oilers to be successful, you know, because, you know, the other teams have good setups, good movement, and guys, everyone's in a position where there's multiple opportunities to get shots off. And it's just the key is to make sure that you're making those reads and you're in the lane, and you got to be able to make sure that you're getting those block shots. So once again, it's an opportunity for some new guys early to kind of show what they got.
Yeah, 100%. And it is kind of fascinating to see. What's your thoughts on Ingram? Do you think he's going to play any games in Edmonton this year?
That's a tough one. I mean, I'm such a Stuart Skinner fan. I mean, the one thing I think pro hockey is good at, and it just is, it's the reason why it's so hard to play in that league, is because you can never get comfortable, right? Obviously, you got McDavid and Draisaitl and those best players, like they're so elite. But you know, for the rest of us and you know, Skinner and Pickard and everyone else, you know, the competition is something that, you know, kind of keeps everybody sharp and uncomfortable and on edge. So I'm not going to say whether, I don't know. I mean, obviously health is the biggest reason, you know, whether he'll get in or not. But I just think, you know, having competition throughout your lineup and then goaltending, it just keeps everyone sharp, right? Goaltending, as a goalie coach, I think your message is stronger. The coach's message is stronger. You know, that's one thing that I know how I felt playing in the NHL throughout my career is just, you know, you're looking over your shoulder, which I think is a good thing, and you get used to it. And that's what drives you to be consistent, you know, and the fact that you just never get cozy. And if you do, unfortunately, that's when you move on. So, you know, I think that Skinner will probably thrive under that. I think he's wired to be able to handle that type of pressure. I love the way he conducts himself and how he analyzes the game. And so I think it's going to be a great year for him.
Brownie, looking around the league, There was 9 teams who had 100 points last year. 3 in the Pacific Division, Edmonton, LA, and Vegas. You had Toronto, you had Tampa Bay. Of course, you had Dallas, you had Washington, the Winnipeg Jets, Colorado. History tells us some of those, based on the last few years, where you've had 4, 3, and 300-point teams completely miss the playoffs the next season. Last year was the Rangers, 114, Bruins, Canucks, each 109, who didn't make it in after getting 100 the previous year. Is there any of those 9 teams that had 100 points where you look and say, you know what? I could see them falling out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, I think to your point is like, it is tough. Last year is last year, and, free agent signings and injuries and how you start the season. It's just so competitive now. And you look at some of the teams and the coaches, the coaching changes too is, you look at Quenneville there in Anaheim, Sullivan in New York, and Tocchet in Philadelphia. Like, those guys they're good coaches that are going to demand a lot from their team. Quenneville's got a ton of experience, won a cup. So it's it's so competitive. I think, you talked about it just before I came on air there with Florida and Tampa Bay and the rivalry. Like, it's starting now. Like, guys I think the importance of every team starting off the right way and getting some wins, because the season, is going to be so tight. Points are going to be hard to come by. That, these guys are clearly edgy and ready for the regular season to start. So yeah, there's no guarantee. As long as your key guys obviously have to be healthy and stay healthy, and then you need, I guess if you bring it to the Oilers, you're going to need your role guys and some guys to have some of these young guys to step up and have continue with their development and take a step within their development, because it's not guaranteed that the fact that anyone's gonna make the playoffs.
Well, it should be a good year, Brown. It starts on Wednesday. You'll be back healthy. Enjoy the week. Get better. We'll talk to you Monday.
Okay, guys. Talk to you.
There you go. That's Sean Brown. Norman joins us for the full few hours on Mondays, but he's under the weather and didn't want to come in sick, which we very much appreciate. Today, coming up in the next hour, we've got more from Stan Bowman. Also, we'll hear from Jensen Lewis. Huge weekend in MLB playoffs. 2 more games going tonight in the National League. Of course, Jays and Yankees, day off. Same with Detroit and Seattle, as they are all traveling back to Detroit and New York. We'll get to all that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by Play Alberta.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice. Charcoal menu? Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball. Where's that voice coming from? Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal. Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
You've probably heard the term supply and demand. Something is needed and someone supplies it. We're GS Construction, and we're in the supply and demand business with you. Edmonton and the surrounding area continue to grow. Infrastructure has to be continually replaced and upgraded to keep up with demand. You see it with new buildings and new roads, but what about below ground, where all sorts of pipes bring you water and take wastewater away? That's where we come in. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
your all-access pass to the world of sports. It's Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We're going to talk about that crazy weekend in MLB in a second, but just remind you that Wednesday night is the season opener for the Oilers, and we got a pair of seats, Lower Bowl, great seats for the game on Wednesday. Also includes dinner for two in Studio 99, unreal food you'll have. You also will get the pre-game arena tour, but you get into all the little areas. Trust me. I've been in that rink for, I don't know, well, basically since it's opened. When I went on that tour, there was lots of places I'd never even been. It's unreal. You get a parking pass as well. You have dinner with one of the, with Tim Shipton. You're going to have a great time. Okay, so it's all for the Gregor Foundation to help out grads. So if you want to go Wednesday night, 2 tickets, dinner, parking pass, a private behind-the-scenes tour of the arena, it's unreal. So 833-401-1440. You can call or text in 833-401-1440. Time now to get to our MLB report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And trying to make a little legacy of his own in the playoffs of Vladdy Guerrero Jr. What a start to his postseason career on the weekend. 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 6 RBIs, and got 5 hits. Man, he was great. The Jays were great. Their bats were going. Their starting pitchers were unreal. Now they're up 2-0. Meanwhile, Seattle and Detroit had a hell of a first 2 games, extremely tight between those two. And then we got games 2 in the National League going tonight. Jensen Lewis, former MLB pitcher, as well as analyst for MLB Network Radio, joins us now. Jensen, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me. And boy, hell of a weekend there north of the border. A lot of offensive firepower on display for sure.
I have to chuckle. I was seeing in New York that the theory is that somehow Toronto's cheating. That's when you know you're desperate, when the fans and everybody's starting to come up with, well, they're cheating. The Jays had the most hits, the best batting average all year long. And I think they were 10th or 11th in home runs. Like, they've been a pretty good hitting team all year long.
Yeah, and remarkable too, right, to see the ability to take advantage of nearly every mistake, right? And I chuckled too, seeing that the kettle is awfully black there for some of the New York fans, considering what their allegations have been in years past about sign stealing and whatnot. So, hey, to each their own. The bottom line is it's about putting up the runs and about doing damage, and I think that's what I circle most importantly here. Is we're used to seeing, the Yankees be that team that just bludgeons people with the home run ball. It's been the Jays, and it's not just one guy, right? Of course, Vladdy with, the big grand slam, but Varsho has been amazing. And George Springer for the entirety of the year when he's been healthy has been phenomenal in the slug. You don't score 20 consecutive runs before you give up a run, the way that Toronto does, unless you're doing things right. So in soccer, they call it the most dangerous lead, 2-0, right? So you got to be able to finish it off here. And you got the right guy in Shane Bieber going tomorrow. So excited to see what Biebs is able to do and what will likely be a very tense and nervous Yankee Stadium.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think it would be very intense. Look at the pitching matchup. If you're a pitcher, how would you approach this Jays lineup if you're Rodon? What are you doing?
Out number 1 is huge, right? You want to keep guys off the base paths in front of the middle of that lineup. And that's why I kind of, went through, it's the depth right now of it's 1 through 9. It's not just 2 guys that are just bashing you in the middle. What a luxury to have, Anthony Santander come back and you can hit him in the bottom third there. We're used to seeing him so often for his days in Baltimore. He's hitting 3rd or 4th there. So to lengthen the lineup in the postseason, such a key leverage point. Second of all, you talked about the balls in play, and that is always the scariest part in the postseason. The more balls in play, the more chances for damage, and that's what Toronto has done really well. If you're Carlos Rodon, you have got to be able to generate some swing and miss early, and kind of the MO, Jason, this postseason has been when teams score first. I believe they're 11-6, so it kind of bears out here. You get the early lead. It has really turned out well. So if I'm the Yankees, you got to find a way to get a quick 1-2-3 top of the first and get to Bieber early.
Jensen Lewis joins us, former MLB player, NLB analyst. And, the Jays, all this sitting without the guy who was really their best contact hitter all year long, and Bo Bichette is even more impressive. Although Varsho's numbers, if you would have prorated them to a full season, he was having an unreal year. Like his home run power, and I'm watching, like, especially in game 2, Jensen, like, every hit, like triple. Well, I know it wasn't triple, whatever. The 2 doubles, the 2 home runs, like he had contact and he looked so poised in the box. That's the thing. It's almost like the Jays hitters, I'm not going to say they knew but they were right on it. Like they weren't just getting lucky hits, like they were bombing balls all over the place.
And that just from a psyche standpoint is something as a pitcher too, on the opposite side of, what do we do? Like anything we throw up there, it doesn't matter. They're crushing it. This is almost bonus points now here for the Jays. I believe teams since 2016 going up 2-0 in the LDS round. The last 18 times that's happened, 17 have gone on to win the series, and 11 of those teams have gone on to complete the sweep. So if you're looking for more things to embolden yourself as a Jays fan, those are some pretty stark numbers. So that coupled with you get this extra time here, if you end it, to potentially have Bo continue the rehab, and we'll see what happens if you end up clinching that LCS berth. But you're right. It is up and down, and it's the variety of ways that the Jays offense has been able to take advantage of not just a handful of Yankee pitchers, but pretty much everyone that's taken them out.
Jensen, you made your pitching debut at the age of 23 in the majors with Cleveland. And, I'm sure it was pretty exciting for you. Then you go in, here's a young guy, Trey Yesavage, who was starting in single A this year. And here he is in the playoffs in game 2. And his performance as a pitcher, you must have been like, what the hell is going on here? Like, how hard it is to pitch, and how hard it is to make a good hitting team look like they have no clue. They had no answer. 10 Ks in the first 4 innings. It was wild.
A very similar path here for young Trey and a young J-Lu way back in the 2007 days. So my path too, I was in Double-A to start the year that year, and then ended up getting into the big leagues the day after the All-Star break, and ended up being a setup guy there for our run into the postseason en route to the LCS. And so kind of seeing where Trey was and the growth and, what he's been able to do from not only just a developmental standpoint, but I think the greatest thing is that you've got John Schneider, you've got a coaching staff, Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins, that had the confidence to not only put him on the roster, but to give him a guaranteed start and early in the series. And that takes a lot from not only the talent level, you got to be, that good to be able to go against a Yankee lineup. But I think it's more so the character of the player. And you saw his teammates react the way that, to me, was the most ringing endorsement. Is not only do they love the dude, the guy is savage, right? He's nasty. I mean, you see some of the swing and misses from some really good hitters, and the depth and the down angle he has on the split, and then to have mid to high 90s heat. I mean, it's really, really tough to cover north and south there. So performance for the ages, one he certainly will never forget. It was great seeing the shots of his family. Shout out to Sportsnet too. I really loved watching all the panoramics and the sights and seeing the sounds of it. It was really well produced. So, hey, that is a great debut. Now the hard part is following it up. Whenever he gets another opportunity to do it, you hope it's not a game 5. You hope it's in the league championship series with an opportunity to win another start.
Well, and you talked about just the images you saw, the camera angle they had on Vladimir Guerrero's home run.
Yes.
Such a great visual, like the pitch is coming in and how he hits it. And like right off the bat, like I'm sure you've been a pitcher and you've probably given up one where you're like, oh, that's gone. Like, the minute it's gone. right? So and then the hitter knows the second it's gone. And that, like, I couldn't imagine what that's. I'm sure it's like you strike out a guy at a huge moment of the game. For a pitcher, that's the similar feeling of hitting a home run that's a no-doubter and place goes bananas.
Yeah, the irony, it was Vladdy's dad, Vladdy Sr., when he was at the Angels. It was a day game in Anaheim. I threw a changeup that I thought was in the left-handed batter's box, and as we all know, Vladdy Sr. will swing at pretty much anything, and he hit it into the mountain there in center field that they've got there at Angel Stadium. So, yeah, I know that one all too well. So there's your 6 degrees of separation from Vladdy Jr. there and Vladdy Sr. But you're right. I mean, when you think about just the atmosphere in and of itself. And my first career save was then Skydome, right? Up there. And I think what was unique is even, you look at regular season games, it's still a pretty hostile environment, still an intimidating place to be able to go in and try and win. And, covering the Indians for as many years I had after my playing career, the 2016, postseason in the LCS there between Cleveland and Toronto, Jason, it is, I get goosebumps thinking about it because you just remember what it's like to compete. And that's the ultimate feeling is 55,000 breathing down your neck, man. And you just want to rise to the moment. And to kind of give you a long-winded answer, I was so incredibly impressed with not only Trey Yesavage just from the pitch execution, but the demeanor, to have the calm and the poise to execute. And yes, you got the big lead, but that almost is harder to pitch through just because you've got to stay there. You don't want that team to be able to try and mount a comeback.
Can you explain the rationale, the feeling for a relief guy? Relief guys, you know what? They're used to going every second day, sometimes 3 days in a row, depending whatever. You had almost a week off, right? And then some guys came in yesterday. They're up big time. It's 12-0. I know everyone's like, oh yeah, okay, it's a low pressure situation. But I wonder sometimes it's like, God, maybe that's worse because a few of the guys got lit up, and I don't know if the Yankees, if that carries over at all, but do you think it was still wise to do that? Because you don't want your relief guys, because they could have kept Yesavage in there easily, right? I think it was only at 78 pitches. You could have kept him going if you wanted to. He was pitching great, but you wanted guys to at least get their arm in. Can you talk about that relief mentality and just how much better it is physically to get in a game, even if you don't have your best stuff?
Yeah, you want the routine for sure. And as far as Trey getting taken out, I think the long game there is Toronto feels like not only are they positioned to advance to the next round, but ultimately you want, another handful of starts and availability for Trey Yesavage as you move forward. So I completely understood that, at least from that standpoint. Relief guys, and especially your big guns, you don't want in the postseason to go, a couple of days without some work here. And sometimes you can't really dictate that because of how the off days fall. But as it pertained to game 2, yeah, some guys get hit around a little bit. And I think there might be a little bit of carryover from the Yankee psyche in that, okay, it wasn't a complete bludgeoning, like we got blown out, we had no chance. You will take at least some of the positive because you have to. I mean, your season's on the line tomorrow. So I think the other part of it is looking at the season series. And, the Yankees did really well, won 4-6 there against the Jays at Yankee Stadium. I believe outscored them by a 26-18 margin there.
Yeah.
What you have to do is just take it inning by inning. And if I'm Shane Bieber too, you know full well that offense is going to have a sense of urgency. They're going to try and get an early lead so you can exploit that. But if you're Toronto, just keep doing the same things and collect outs. It's not about getting to the ninth. It's about getting to the third inning. It's about turning the lineup over that second time. Just collect outs, man. And the smaller and shorter you can keep your mind in the moment, I think that's where the good clubs are. And, hey, if you're Toronto sitting there right now, you get an early lead. That's all the extra pressure you'll need to add to a team in New York that's already feeling it right now.
Jensen Lewis joins us, former MLB pitcher, MLB analyst. The Seattle-Detroit series, hell of a series, 2 very close games. And, man, obviously Seattle had to win game 2, but especially who they beat. I know he didn't get the loss, but, anytime you can take out their ace and not get a loss in that game, that's huge for them. How do you see this series now, which is a best of 3?
Yeah, and house money for Detroit yesterday, an opportunity to go up 2-0, and I think even more resilient, their offense, which has found late inning magic a lot to kind of be able to force that tie in the 8th inning. You're thinking, oh man, do they end up stealing it here when Polanco has the 2 homers against Skubal? But that's when your stars got to be stars, right? Cal Raleigh, I think, should be the MVP, ends up with the double, and then Julio Rodriguez, a big postseason moment for him with the go-ahead and game-winning RBI. That back end of the bullpen is nasty. I mean, Seattle can swing and miss with the best of them as far as their starters to their relievers. Fascinated to see tomorrow afternoon with Logan Gilbert and Jack Flaherty. And Flaherty has shown an ability to really rise to the occasion as well. And he's going to need it because I think Seattle, if you look back, the last time they played each other, the only series they played in Detroit this year was right at the end of the first half. It was a 3-game sweep by Seattle, and they scored 35 runs in 3 games. I mean, it was just a pasting of the Detroit pitching staff. Now, a lot has happened since then, and this is the postseason, but that's something to factor in. Also, Logan Gilbert, who will start for the Mariners, has had really, really stark home and road splits. I think it's a sub-2.5 ERA at home and almost a 5 ERA on the road. So if you're looking to hang your hat on something for the Detroit Tigers, Logan Gilbert has shown a bit of a struggle away from T-Mobile. And I think that's something that will play into AJ Hinch and how quickly he wants to get to his bullpen, even with the day off. I think he's going to want to try and get as much length out of Jack Flaherty, just like he did in that wild card game against Cleveland.
Looking to the National League tonight. What's the storylines you look? If it's kind of unique, you play one game, then you get a day off. I don't know if that benefits anybody or not, but what do you make of those two series? The Cubbies and the Phillies looking to rebound.
I looked at the off day for in between game 1 and game 2 as a huge advantage for Dave Roberts and the Dodger pen, because he could extend a Tyler Glasnow or Roki Sasaki with the benefit of the off day. They'll have that same benefit being off tomorrow, traveling back to Chavez Ravine. A historical note that is kind of crazy to think about. The Phillies are 0-8 all time in their postseason franchise history when they lose game 1 of a division series.
Wow.
And that in and of itself, I think is pretty stark considering the pedigree of what they had. I do think Philadelphia wins tonight, though. I do think it is a lower scoring game. I think you kind of get back to Blake Snell generating some swing and miss. Jesus Luzardo, last time he was in the postseason, the irony of ironies here, he was a starting pitcher for the Miami Marlins in Citizens Bank Park against the Philadelphia Phillies. He'll take the ball for hometown Philadelphia tonight. I think if you're going to be successful against Blake Snell, there is an exercise in patience and not allowing him to rack up a lot of quick strikeouts. So if he's kind of moving early, bad news for Philly. To me, I'm looking for them to have a little bit of patience and try and strike if his command is a little off kilter.
Lastly, and I really appreciate your time, Jensen. When you look at the matchup heading in for Toronto, and let's say they lose game 3, and they're projected as a game 4 bullpen start. Although I think by the rules there could be an injury where you're able to activate one of your starters. And, because he came in yesterday, Bruley pitched in it. Oh, geez, now he's got some muscle soreness. Like, do you think they'd actually go with the bullpen start, or could you see an injury and that allows them to activate one of Scherzer or Bassett for game?
Yeah, I think they probably tackle that after tomorrow night. And, again, you best laid plans, until something does happen. So I think they need to understand the workload that they'll get out of Bieber and the assets that they'll have to use to get through, win or lose tomorrow. Obviously, easy answer, you win, and then you can kind of take stock in what you felt like and potentially make some alterations to that league championship roster. If it is one where Biebs kind of gets touched up early and it's a lot of resources, then yeah, maybe you see some gamesmanship there. But I got to believe John Schneider, they don't want the Yankees coming up for air whatsoever. This is full pedal to the metal. Let's try and blow them out early. Let's get into that Yankee bullpen and then really, really put the screws to them.
Yeah, they have to, for sure. Jensen, great stuff, man. We'll look forward to talking throughout the playoffs. Thanks so much for your time.
You got it. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Jensen Lewis, former MLB pitcher. It's great having him on. Hey, he made his debut first year. He's into the playoffs. Obviously very few guys do what Trey Yesavage did. But how many of you, I had text people like, I've never heard of Trey Yesavage. Now, they're not huge baseball fans, right? So I get it. If you haven't followed the Jays all year, you're not going to know what's going on. But what a performance. I was watching that, and it was like, not only were they they weren't even close on some of those pitches. They didn't know what was coming. It was a stellar performance, one that you just don't see very often. We got Cam Tate coming up in the 2-minute warning. We're going to talk more about that Florida-Tampa Bay rivalry that's growing. Tampa Bay went out and claimed off of waivers a big 6'9", 242-pounder. Is yet to play in the NHL. Now, will he play? I don't know. Sabrin got suspended for 4 games by the NHL. We got Speck, Andrew Walker coming up later on. We'll hear more from Stan Bowman. Also, it's kind of playoff week here for the Green and Gold. You got to win to stay in the race. They got to beat Winnipeg, and that game Saturday at home. So we'll get to that. Also, we'll update. We got some bids for our package to go to the game on Wednesday. We'll get to all that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sani dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at goelks.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Buy more, save more, give more at The Brick. This week at The Brick, save up to 30% off furniture and up to 15% off major appliances. Your stellar night's sleep starts with select mattresses up to 40% off. Or score a Made in Canada mattress from just $159. Find store-wide savings on upholstery, major appliances, and big screen TVs, with a portion of proceeds donated to the Stollery. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money. Fluent? Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy round black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes, call Legacy. Call Legacy. For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
They sure saw you coming. You went in for about $200 in auto service, and by the time Johnny Slick out front was done telling you everything he thought you should have replaced, you got hosed for $3,000. Big Toy Shop won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. You'll know exactly what your service actually costs and when it's going to be done. Take your ride to Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
I love the colorful clothes you wear and the way the sunlight plays upon her head. Hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Edmonton today as Captain Connor McDavid signs a 2-year extension with the exact same 12.5 AAV. And that means 3 years minimum for McDavid in Edmonton. Also, Jake Walman signs a 7-year extension, so could have 8 years of Walman because he's entering the final year of his current deal. So some big contract signings today for the Edmonton Oilers. They had a day off today. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow, getting set for their season opener Wednesday night. And you could be going, as we got a package for you. Very simple. Here's the package. You have 2 great seats in the lower bowl for Oilers Canucks Wednesday night. You'll have dinner for 2 in Studio 99. Also, you get the pre-game behind-the-scenes arena tour. This is something you can't get, and you can't just go out there and sign up for. It's amazing. If you want to see all the things that go on, you'll love it. So you go there for dinner a little bit earlier, then you get the tour hosted by Tim Shipton. You'll also get the underground parking pass for the game. So be awesome. All right. So currently we open it up. Our inaugural bid came in at $500 from Bobby. Now we got up to 600 from Big Baby. What was that guy's name for the Boston Celtics? Yeah, what was his real name?
Big Baby Davis?
Big Baby Davis, right? There you go. So, yeah. I don't know if this is Big Baby Davis or not, but it's a Big Baby up to 600. So if you want in, all the proceeds go to the Gregor Foundation, Gregor's Grads, 833-401-1440s. We're already starting our fundraising for next year for grad season. And yes, there will be a graduation season. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder on grade 12s with this current strike. So hopefully that ends for all parties involved. I think families, kids, teachers, everybody, got to be a way to come to an agreement to get them back at school. I think that is, it's not an ideal situation, to put it mildly. So 833-401-1440. Hey guys, you know that Big Baby Davis is incarcerated right now? I did not know that. Triple C in a truck. It's unfortunate for him.
I think it was a scheme against the PA or something, or their
right.
retirement.
Yeah, that's not wise, right? Like scamming your own player association. So not a great idea by any stretch of the imagination. So there you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're not really close yet to face value, but we'll get there as we always do. Love it. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC or furnace. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town, 44 years. Jeez, must have started when he was 40. Nonetheless, 44 years. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. Cam's in a wheelchair, but has never let his disability slow him down. He's always wanted to be on the radio, but couldn't be until now. So the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
A gray Monday morning on 104 Avenue, where Rogers Place sits as a fortress of both ice and imagination, carried with it a muted kind of promise. Fog hanging stubbornly over the glass exterior. Clouds crouching low, yet somehow lifting spirits skyward, whispering that something beyond the ordinary was about to unfold. Just after the day's 10th hour, a workman balanced in a mini cherry picker leaned toward immortality, carefully polishing the silver sheen of the Stanley Cup replica atop the Wayne Gretzky statue. It felt almost rehearsed, as if the city itself knew it had a part to play in this drama of destiny. Inside the arena, just before 10:30, an Oilers employee stopped with a casual hello, but couldn't suppress the undertone of anticipation, hinting that smiles, big, wide, uncontainable smiles, would soon ripple not only through the team's offices, but across the city itself. Not even 3 minutes later, those whispers crystallized into thunder. The Oilers' official account X announced Connor McDavid's 2-year, $25 million extension. The signing is beyond extraordinary. It is, in fact, a declaration. McDavid's choice boldly insists that money is not everything, though the marketplace would tempt otherwise. Winning is everything. And by tethering himself anew to Edmonton, McDavid has flung a beacon into the fog, one every professional sports franchise should mark on their compass. This is leadership in its purest, rarest form. Here is the best player in the world, leaving helpless millions of dollars on the table to honor loyalty over greed, commitment over calculation, to a city that adores him, to teammates who fight with him, to the notion that legacy, not luxury, will write the final lines of his story. A skip-the-dishes driver walked into the arena and spotted me. His face cracked into a grin. He raised 2 fingers and, with the simple eloquence that only the street can offer, summed it up perfectly. McDavid, 2 years. Awesome. And with that, Edmonton its captain had just signed not only a contract, but a covenant. 2-minute warning. Weekdays. Gregor, Halley, Tate, Sports, 1440.
It is a big signing for the organization, for their fans, for everybody involved in, around hockey, right? Businesses, everybody. There's no downplaying. It's a big deal. And the Oilers, I see people saying, wow, the management's got to be competitive now. I'm like, what do you think they've been doing for the last few years? Like, what are you talking about? Be competitive. They've been competitive. Okay? Very competitive. Look at them over the last 5 years in the NHL, right? How many teams, what are the Oilers? I think they got, in the regular season, I think they've got the 4th most wins, right? Maybe 5th. Might be 5th with 231. Yeah, they're 5th. Florida has 236. Then you go into the playoffs, right? Last 5 years. Florida most wins, Edmonton second most wins. Anybody suggesting the Oilers, well, now they got it? No, they're already competitive. Now it's just trying to maintain it and see if you can go from runner-up to the champion. All right, the final step's definitely the hardest one, no question about it. But any suggestions that they haven't been competitive is just ridiculous. Of course they've been competitive. They've been very competitive for the last 5 years. And I think they'll be competitive for the next 5 seasons, probably and beyond. So, eventually, like any organization, there's, when you're at the top for a long time, it's hard to just, reshuffle and keep it there. It's just difficult, right? Because your best guys eventually move on or they retire or whatever, right? And it's hard to replace them. Like when McDavid retires or leaves Edmonton, you're not just going to replace him with one player, right? Now, unless you get really lucky, right? Pittsburgh, Lemieux to Crosby, very lucky. Favre to Rogers, Jordan Love. Well, Love's probably not at their category yet, but still pretty close. Right? Like that's rare. It doesn't happen very often. So enjoy it while you can. And you got minimum 3 more years of number 97. Dan came in at 800, and now Andrew bumps it up to a G note. Now we are rolling. I love it. It's all for charity for Wednesday. Hey, you can see McDavid. The crowds will be giving him a huge round of applause, as the rest of the team. There's just something special about opening night for any team. Excitement's high. Energy is high. Everybody has aspirations and goals that this could be the year for your team. And for Oilers fans, saying this could be the year isn't that far-fetched. The Oilers have been very close. Now, if you say this is our year, and man, I could list off probably 20 NHL teams where I'd say if they're saying this is our year, that's a lot of dreaming that it's their year, realistically. Like, If I had to pick teams that I thought, okay, here they have a legit chance to win the cup this year, I'd have Edmonton. I'd still have Florida because they've made it 3 years in a row. I would have Vegas. I would have Toronto. I would have Dallas. I would have Colorado. And I'm not sure I would have anybody from the Metro, to be honest. Because Carolina is the same team they've always been for me. And what I saw on the weekend from Carolina is exactly why I don't think they're ever and we'll go to break here, but look at the difference of what happened in the preseason between Tampa and Florida, and then compare it to what happened to Carolina when Svechnikov on a fairly clean hit, but still a massive hit by a non-tough heavyweight. What was the response? Absolutely nothing. That's the difference. They got a good team. They pressure your heart all over the ice, but they are not a team that is willing to get dirty when you need to get dirty. And that's why I didn't have Carolina as a team that I think can win this year. Sorry, I don't. They'll have good regular season numbers. They'll probably have 100 points. They'll have really good Corsi and really good analytics and shot share and all that stuff. But they're missing a key ingredient. And I think that key ingredient's slowly coming up. You need a little bit of nastiness on your team. And you better have a team that says, even if that's a clean hit, if it's on one of our best players, we're responding. And the fact that they didn't, I don't like it if I was a Carolina fan. Not at all. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They've got you covered. If your wallet isn't ready, even though you need new tires, how about 0% finance for 6 months or 12 equal payments? No interest for over a year. Get road ready, even if you're not wallet ready. FountainTire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Okay, 2 minutes earlier today, the Edmonton Oilers and Captain Connor McDavid agreeing to a new contract extension for $25 million over 2 years. They'll continue the same $12.5 million cap hit on his current deal, an 8-year, $100 million deal he signed back in 2017. The team also signed defenseman Jake Walman to a 7-year contract worth $49 million. He was acquired from the San Jose Sharks ahead of the trade deadline last season, appearing in 37 games total in the regular and postseason, totaling 3 goals and 15 assists. The Oilers will kick off their season Wednesday night down at Rogers Place to take on the Flames just after 8 o'clock. Major League Baseball, you got game 2 of the NLDS between the Phillies and Dodgers getting going in about 5 minutes time. Dodgers lead that series 1-0. Then at 7:08, Brewers and Cubbies meeting in game 2 of their series, with the Cubs trailing 1-0. In the NFL, Week 5 wraps up tonight down in Duval as the Jags host the Chiefs. Kickoff set for 6:15. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by the voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Dave Mishkin. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby.
3 o'clock on
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schweiner. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree.
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
It might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only
They,
available
as,
in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, and man, Philly fans pretty loud, and they're trying to root on their team as the Phillies down 1-0 in that series, and they've never come back to win when they lose game one in the best of 5 in the the NLDS. So hopefully that happens. I'm not a huge Dodger fan, but I know there's lots of Dodger fans out there. That should be a great series. Then, of course, you have the Cubbies taking on Milwaukee later on tonight. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hey, thank you all. Our numbers keep going up just consistently every day. If you please take a moment, go to the YouTube. We got a lot of shorts on there as well that I think you'll really like. If you missed part of the show, check out our page. We got lots of content up there. You don't miss anything. It's fantastic. Football, hockey, baseball, everything. You got it in the shorts. So check it out. Be sure to subscribe to the page. It'll help us a lot. And give a thumbs up every now and then. That'll make Declan's day. He's there chatting with everybody. He's always got questions in the chat on YouTube, so you can contribute there as well. And as always, it's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Today we are up to $1,000 on our package today, which is a pretty good package. You can be one of the lucky ones in for the home opener this Wednesday night. You got 2 lower bowl seats, great seats, by the way, for the Oilers taking on the Calgary Flames on Wednesday night. You'll have dinner for 2 in Studio 99. Prior to that, it's great food in there. You'll love it. Also, you get a very cool behind-the-scenes pregame arena tour hosted by Tim Shipton from the Oilers. Take you to all the different places. You're going to love it, like places you've probably never been. Heck, I've been working there for a decade, and last year I got to go on that tour, and I was like, what? I didn't even know this existed. So you have lots of fun. You got the underground parking pass as well, and then you got the game itself. David, Draisaitl, and the rest of the Oilers as they look to get off to a better start than they've had the last few years early on. Remember their last 2 season starters? Not good. 8-1 loss, 6-0 loss. I'm going to go out on a limb. They're not going to get pounded this year. I actually think the Oilers are going to win their season opener this season. Historically, they've been pretty good in home openers and season openers, especially when they open up at home. So you could be going. You can text in your bid, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As it's up to Andrew has it at $1,000 right now. So that's great. Let's keep it going. 833-401-1440. Coming up later on, we got Dave Mishkin to join us as we go around the NHL. We get set. Man, we're talking best rivalry in the NHL right now. It's hard to say there's a better one than Florida and Tampa Bay. The teams of the last 6 Eastern Conference champions are between those 2 teams. They've won 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups. They've been damn good. And they're big. They got a culture of winning, and they got a culture of you stand up for one another. Even if you got to cross the line to do it every now and then, they're for it. And I'm all for it, man. I am all for it. So we'll get to that. We got a lot of other texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, what are your thoughts about Tage Thompson, I think there's any chance Evan up in the oil sands? Hey, Evan, it's funny. I mentioned it last week, man. I look at if the Buffalo Sabres are out of it. Now, Tage Thompson's an absolute steal at $7.1 million, and he's got a lot of years left. I'm telling you, that's a guy I would be going after for sure. He can play wing, he can play center, he can shoot, he can rip it, he's big. He'd be so hungry to be in a competitive team. He hasn't a sniff of the playoffs. Now, you're going to have to offer up something really good to get him. So that's the challenge, right? 5 years on that deal. I would assume you'd have to give up a lot, although their GM has kind of gotten fleeced a little bit at times, no question. Got to Consu. Now we're up to $1,200. I love it from Jeff. So Jeff on the farm. Well, Jeff, hopefully you got all the crops and everything's good, ready to go, get winterized for the farm. So Jeff is in at $1,200. Now, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's obviously McDavid signed here for the tax savings. Yeah, you know what? No one. Yeah, how come that's never mentioned, right? Oh my God, look at that! Everybody's going there to save money. Not a peep out of anybody outside claiming that. Oh, what a great deal! See, look, no state tax, big advantage. Clearly, it's the Canadian advantage because he gets paid in American money. I think we're going to start that trend. I think we're going to start it. So, and we'll go from there. But I do find it quite comical, right? The minute somebody signs in Vegas or Dallas, see, lower deal. It's because of the no state tax all the time, even though most of those contracts aren't even great deals. And like I've said, go through the Florida guys at the time that they signed. Bobrovsky signed for $10 million years ago. Wasn't a deal. Barkov got $10 million. Wasn't a deal. Kachuk got 9.5 when Johnny Gaudreau got 9.5. Now, the difference is, do the Florida guys, does it help them? Yes. Sure, it does. It doesn't help the team. Those guys, the team wasn't getting great savings on their contracts. But clearly, they might have to talk about it. That's the new one. You got to sign in Edmonton because clearly there's savings. That's why Connor did it. Right? That has nothing to do with anything else. It's always just about the taxes and the money. So we'll see. Hey, guys, do you think McDavid's contract will lead to other big-name guys coming to Edmonton? Well, there's only so much money to go around. So I don't know if I would agree with that. We've already seen players want to come to Edmonton. Matthias Ekholm was like, yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? Like, yeah, I want to come to Edmonton. And Zach Hyman said it. He signed in Edmonton. Look at what he signed for. And then when Zach Hyman signed, he wasn't a 50-goal scorer. He wasn't even a 30-goal scorer. He wasn't even a 25-goal scorer. And look what he's become. So, yeah, I think this is, the old adage, hey, land of opportunity. If you're a top six winger or you're somebody who thinks you can go from a 20-goal scorer to 25 to a 30, maybe a 35-goal scorer, yeah, damn right. This is the place to come. A, you're going to have fun. You're going to win. And you know what? If you're on a 3-year deal and you're young, you're probably got a real good chance to make more money later on. No doubt about it. So, yeah, I think whether McDavid signed for 15 mil or 12.5, 16 mil, I don't think that would change. I think players would still look and say, hey, Edmonton's a place I want to go to. No question. And because it's competitive right now and they're in a window to win. Doesn't mean they will. That's a sad and harsh reality. It doesn't mean that they will, but they are definitely in a chance to win right now and for multiple seasons, I would think. Hey, Greg's, I know it's all excitement about McDavid, but I'm just curious, what do the Elks need to do to make the playoffs? I'm doing the doubleheader on Saturday. I'm curious how many people are doing the doubleheader. Why wouldn't you? It's outstanding. You got the Elks at 5 o'clock and the Oilers at 8 o'clock. All Canadian matchup. Winnipeg, Edmonton, then Vancouver and Edmonton. It's pretty close. You can get an Uber pretty quick from Commonwealth to Rogers. No doubt in my mind. So the Elks, well, the simple thing is they have to win on Saturday. No questions asked. They have to win. Now, the bonus is if they could win by more than 14, well, then they'd actually own the tiebreaker. So that would help them a little bit. Otherwise, Winnipeg has the tiebreaker, and that makes it difficult. So if Edmonton's leading in that game, they have to be aware that they got to keep going and push it even more because to potentially help them to win the tiebreaker. Look at it. Right now, you actually have a better chance to catch Calgary than you do to catch BC because Calgary's now 8-7. They're going in the wrong direction, and you do play Calgary. But Edmonton's going to have to Edmonton has to win minimum 2 of their 3 games, where one of them has to be against, and ideally if both were against Winnipeg and Calgary, that'd be better because I think the odds of them catching BC are slim to none. Right now, BC actually, I don't even think they can catch BC because BC owns the tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. So they can't catch them anyway. So now it's a matter of Calgary and Winnipeg. And they play both of them. They play both of them at home. And if you look at the rest of the schedule, so Calgary's in Hamilton. Edmonton's in Winnipeg. Edmonton hosts Winnipeg. You win that game, now you're suddenly 2 back of both of those teams. Then Edmonton's in BC. Winnipeg hosts Saskatchewan. Calgary, now that that's the one. Calgary hosts Toronto. That could come to bite them. And then the final week of the season, Edmonton hosts Calgary. So they're going to need some help, but they have to win at least 2, probably all 3, I think, to make it realistic, but at least 2. And then hope that if they win both of those 2 and they beat Winnipeg and Calgary, then they hope that Winnipeg or Calgary, one of them loses all 3, then they could get in. That would be, that's how it goes. So you got to start this weekend. You can't look past anything. Just win this weekend and keep their hopes alive. That would be their goal right now. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. Your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, EWEL.ca. Take a break. We got Dave Mishkin. We got 5 questions. Spec, Walker on a busy Monday edition. I guess, do we call it the McDavid signing Monday edition of the Gregor Show? We should. You're on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Yeah, can I get yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie, now at McDonald's.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Cam Tate sauce.
Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Suits.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudlin. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise at tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price started at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's Cast Tours. CASTTOURS. 1-833-347-7678.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.422, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Man, I'm getting a lot of texts and tweets from people how I guess Calgary's just melting down on the McDavid signing. Like, they actually thought McDavid wasn't going to sign in Edmonton. Like, honestly, at times I kind of feel sorry for Calgarians. They spend more time worrying about Edmonton than they do about their own team. It's kind of it's a weird thing. It's a very weird place to be in for them, but that's just where they're at. It's they have definitely well, I get why. Like, it's hard to be a rival when one rival's one way more than you. It's kind of a one-sided rivalry. It's like Edmonton's always been the big brother, and yeah, the little brother wins every now and then, like in '86, sure, although the big brother kind of beat themselves, but it's kind of where it's at. It's unfortunate. So maybe I understand. It's like 40 years of always thinking you're second best and trying to convince yourself that you aren't. It's a tough one. Let's get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And it's like the M-Day. McDavid signing. You got McDonald's, and Monopoly is back, one of your favorite games. So get ready to peel like a winner. Only McDonald's up until November 10th. Good luck. And now, speaking of rivalries, and what makes this, for my mind, I think it's the best rivalry in the NHL right now. Because we talked about, like, you got to have both win. And Tampa Bay won twice. They went to the Cup final 3 in a row. Now Florida's won twice. They went to the Cup final. They beat each other, and they don't like each other. And man, from an outside, it's unbelievable to watch. I know, does it get a little bit dirty at times? Damn right. That's what rivalries do. That's what happens. It brings the best and the most emotion out of both sides. And I think both organizations are winning organizations, and they both stand up for one another. And I love it. Dave Mishkin joins us. And Dave, I know it's only preseason, but man, this rivalry, it's already hot. It's continued from last year. And November 5th, I've already looked. I got it circled on my calendar. That's a must-watch game for me.
Well, you go into these games, Jason, and you never know what you're going to get. I mean, the teams played a preseason game on Tuesday in Orlando, and it was just your garden variety preseason game. And really, yes, there is a rivalry. They've been rivals even when neither team was making the playoffs, or one team was making the playoffs and the other wasn't. But now they've both made the playoffs regularly, and they've met in the playoffs. In the last 5 years, they met 4 times. Yeah. And the winner has gone on to the Stanley Cup final every year. So that's where rivalries are really amped up. But I think what happened in the last 2 games, you need a match to be lit. And the match that was lit happened in the Thursday game in Tampa, when AJ Greer, went out of his way to go at Brandon Hagel.
Yeah.
And had that not happened, I mean, I said this on the air, both Thursday and Saturday, had AJ Greer done something differently, we probably would have had two kind of garden variety preseason games between the teams. But the fact that, he targeted a guy who had been targeted in the playoffs last year, was concussed and knocked out of that series, and that wasn't enough, right? Like, even that wasn't enough, that the Panthers felt that Hagel needed to answer something else, and they knocked him out of that game too. At that point, you can understand why, the Lightning reacted the way that they did. And, obviously the Panthers were then going to react in kind. So for the people who really only paid attention to Saturday's game, which was the game with over 300 penalty minutes.
Well, the Thursday game was equally feisty.
Well, it was. It didn't have as many, but, Sabourin on the first shift that he has, he goes after Ekblad. People who were just seeing that game in a vacuum might not really understand that what happened Saturday had its roots in prior games.
Yeah.
The one 2 nights earlier and even in the playoffs last year.
Well, you look at Tampa Bay, and I don't think it wasn't lost on me who they claimed on waivers from Utah. Curtis Douglas, 6'9", 242-pound winger. Now, he was a 4th-round pick of Dallas, and he's being traded a few times. Other teams seriously feel that, hey, maybe this guy will eventually, be an NHLer for us. But I look at that acquisition, and to me, it screams, hey, just in case we want to have somebody in those rivalry games, because Gadjevich is one of the toughest guys in the league.
Yeah, Gadjevich is tough. I don't know what to make of it, Jason. I mean, we just saw the news come down that the Lightning put in a waiver claim on Douglas. So, I mean, if you're looking ahead to the Panthers, it's still whatever, over a month.
Weeks,
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some games between now and then. I will also point out that the Lightning had a terrific preseason and training camp. I mean, it's hard to build up the preseason too much, because sometimes guys look like world beaters in the preseason, and then you put them into a regular season game, and the competition is just more fierce, it's more intense, the game is faster, the players are competing at a higher level, the NHL regulars. But compared to other preseasons, I think the Lightning feel that they've done a pretty good job of addressing kind of depth pieces when they have been in the position that they've been in for quite some time, which is not really having high draft picks, right? So, they found a guy, Wojtek Stachowiak, who'd been playing in Germany. He's got dual citizenship, Polish and German. He may play for the German Olympic team. I mean, I didn't know anything about him. He came into camp. He was fantastic. I mean, he was one of the last cuts the Lightning made. That's just one example. So it's interesting that they added another forward. I understand where you're going with it. You look at the height, you look at the weight for Curtis Douglas. Maybe you could say 1 + 1 = 2. Or maybe they're just looking at adding another depth piece in a particular position where they feel that, they can add some more depth. Because they don't have a lot of guys that fit that bill necessarily. Yeah. Although Scott Sabourin is one of them, and they brought him on during the offseason as a forward. And then they've drafted a defenseman who was also in the game on Saturday, a guy by the name of Roman Schmidt, who is also a very big, strong, tough customer. He's a defenseman, though. And as we just talked about, Douglas is a forward.
Yeah. Well, Sabourin got suspended 4 games today, although was he not sent down to the minors already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he doesn't count on your roster anyway. But this just coming down moments ago that JJ Moser has been suspended 2 games for boarding Jesper Boquist during that game on Saturday. So he'll be suspended for 2 games. Now, the Mikko Mikkola situation, Dave, you've called games for a long time. By the rule book, he should be suspended 10 games, because by the rule book, it states if you get a game misconduct, then you don't leave the game and the player doesn't leave. Well, he didn't leave. He was actually on the ice later. I don't know how there was a miscommunication there, because they announced he got a game misconduct, but he stayed in the game. What do you think is going to come of that?
Nothing.
Okay.
I do not think there was any intent there, Jason. I think so. You had to be in the building to understand. It was like Grand Central Station at rush hour trying to figure out what was going on there. And look, I'm not gonna say that this was definitely the case, but you had 2 referees who are experienced. I mean, Jean Hebert's been an NHL referee for a long time, And Michael Markovich, I mean, he's been in the league for several years. I know because I've said his name before, and they both worked the game on Thursday.
Yeah.
But it's not like they refed games in the 70s and the 80s where you have like 300 penalty minutes. Right? There was just a lot happening. And I think they did announce the Mikkola game misconduct, but it's not like that was an isolated call at one particular point.
Okay.
And they what I think happened is like they announced it, but maybe they didn't tell them, and it just slipped through the cracks. I mean, there were enough players leaving that game that I don't know. I just think that it was a miscommunication. I feel that that's the way the league is going to look at it, and certainly we would have heard something by now,
right,
if that were the case, because the Panthers open their season tomorrow. But to me, that is a different situation. I'll tell you the one that got Lightning fans really irked was the Verhaeghe hit on Gergensen, who is injured. Like he's on the injured list. He is not starting the season on the active roster. We have a show ourselves, and you know, we reached out to the league just for the DOPS is not in the habit of explaining why a player is not suspended. I do think that they are very forthcoming with their videos and explicit in explaining why a player is suspended. But, you know, they look at a lot of plays that are not suspendable in their mind. And you know, they're not going to do videos for all of those. So just because of what had happened, you know, we were looking for some clarification. And essentially the difference between the Moser play, which did get him a 2-game suspension, and the Verhaeghe play, which got no supplemental discipline, was the fact that Moser essentially saw Boquist's numbers in front of him and continued on the same path. Whereas Verhaeghe was coming along the boards and the hit was along the boards. Had Verhaeghe come across the ice and hit Gergensen on the sideboards, it might have been a different story. So that was the distinction for the league.
Okay.
I'm not sure the Lightning fans were particularly thrilled with that when we shared it with them on our show today. But from that standpoint, it does make sense. And the other point is, like, he did get a 5 in a game. I know it was a preseason game talking about Verhaeghe. So in their mind, you know, he was punished for the hit. It was not a legal hit, but it didn't rise to the level of supplemental discipline. They really look for those plays where the player applying the check, in this case boarding, has time to make a different decision. You know, like they see the numbers, they're heading in a straight line, and they just like full steam ahead. And that's how they felt the Moser play kind of played out. So the Lightning do have 6 other defensemen. So I guess that's how they're going to start the season for the first 2 games, playing those other 6.
Dave Mishkin joins us. So, Dave, you look at Tampa Bay, and obviously, hey, like Florida's good. Tampa Bay's really good as well. You know, they go back and forth. You look at their lineup. Kucherov's still there. He's elite. Braden Points, dynamic player. Jake Gensel. Brandon Hagel might have had the most unexpected 90-point season last year. Really good year. Sorelli, both those guys playing for Team Canada. Oliver Bjorkstrand. Now, he came over at the deadline. He was banged up. He never really found his stride. He's entering the final year of his deal. How has Bjorkstrand looked, and where do you see him fitting in?
Well, the Lightning are excited to have him, and they were excited to get him last year. It was a freak injury last week, I think, of the regular season. He took just a hit on the leg. It was not anything, you know, out of the ordinary that happens in a hockey game. And that night, his leg just swelled up, and he had to have emergency surgery. It's called compartment syndrome, where the blood basically gets, you know, stuck in your leg, and it can be very, very serious. So they got him treated in time, but it was basically just bad luck that, you know, this happened from a fairly regular hit in a hockey game. So they didn't have him in the series last year. Would it have made a difference? I mean, who knows? But, you know, certainly he would have been a weapon that they could have used, especially as their power play went 2 for 18 in the series against Florida. So yes, where are they going to use him right now? He's looking as, you know, if he's going to be a 3rd-line winger playing with Yanni Gourde, who he played with at least for part of the time they were in Seattle together. And they were line mates in the year that Seattle made the playoffs and beat Colorado. But maybe just as significantly or more significantly, he's going to be on the top power play unit with the guys you mentioned, like Kucherov, Gensel, Point, and Hedman. He has one of the best wrist shots in the NHL, in my opinion. I mean, we've seen him score against the Lightning. I've seen him score against the Lightning through the years, particularly when he was in Columbus. So the question is, can he get it off, right? Can he get himself in a position to use that thing which is hard and accurate, and he can pick corners with it. So I think that the Lightning are excited to have him. He's a righty too. The way the Lightning use their power play, Kucherov likes to be at the right circle. If he's at the right circle, he needs right-handed shooting players available for one-timers. Obviously, he had Stamkos all those years, who's not there anymore. So the fact that Bjorkstrand is a righty, he has kind of been more in the middle, and Point has been at what was the Stamkos spot for the time that we've seen them work in the power play. But they've also swapped, just not keeping it completely static. So we'll see how it goes. But I think that, the Lightning acquired him for a reason, and they're very excited to have him healthy this year. And also, for some players, it's not the easiest thing in the world to arrive at the deadline.
Yes, no.
Bjorkstrand had only switched teams once, and that was during the off season. So now, I thought that he did score some goals last year. It was more the injury derailed him. But now, he's had a full training camp. He's here from the beginning. Let's see how he does this year.
Well, for anybody who plays fantasy hockey, take that note. Bjorkstrand on the Lightning's first unit power play. That power play is darn good in Tampa Bay. So he's definitely going to get some opportunities there to put up some points. No question. Kucherov, one of the best passers in the game. No question in my mind. Dave, overall, when you look at Tampa Bay, they've still got they got elite forwards. They got elite defense. They got elite goalie. Them and Florida are both very good. And they go head to head. And when you look at last year and you look at this Tampa Bay team this year, is there any area where you see that they're better?
So that's a great question, Jason, because last year was almost two storylines. There was the regular season, and then there was the series against the Panthers. So it really is like, how much importance are you going to put on one over the other? Because their regular season was a fantastic regular season. The year before, they were a bottom third team in goals allowed and 5-on-5 ratio. So that was an area of concern. They improved to top 5 in just about every significant category in the NHL last year. Goals for per game, goals against per game, power play, penalty kill was 6, but that's still excellent. And then 5-on-5 ratio, they were a top 5 team. So they scored a lot and they kept the puck out, which is usually a very good metric that will lead to playoff success. Then they ran into a buzzsaw. I don't know if anyone beats the Panthers last year. That's how good they were through the playoffs. And it was like from the drop of the puck in game 1, I think that they elevated their game in the playoffs. They deserved to win the series. The Lightning did have some injury misfortune. I mentioned Bjorkstrand. They had other guys who happened to get hurt through that series. So you come out of that and you're like, well, what are we placing more significance on? The 6 months and the 82 games, or 8 days and 5 games? And what Julian Breezebaugh, the GM, has basically said is, I like our team. He liked what the team did last year. They didn't make a lot of changes during the offseason. They did pick up Pontus Holmberg when the Leafs did not qualify him. They also picked up Jacob Pelletier. He had a good camp, but he's in Syracuse right now. He was not qualified by Philadelphia. I mentioned some of the guys they found, overseas. They signed as well. But they didn't really make a lot of changes. To the extent that they did make changes, Holmberg's going to kind of take the place of Luke Glendening. He's younger than Glendening. Glendenning's one of the best face-up guys in the NHL, though. So, the Lightning will have to account for that. And then I think they're just looking for some of their younger players to continue to grow. Max Crozier is going to be on the NHL roster this year. They're very high on him. He's a right-handed defenseman who's only in his third year pro, and they're very, very high on him. But seeing the Connor Geekies and the Croziers and some of the younger players that they have continue to kind of progress and grow is where they kind of are looking to push forward. But Julian said, if we finish with the same numbers this year as we had last year in the regular season, I'll be a very happy man.
And this just coming down, man. Tampa Bay, they just got fined $100,000 to the club, and head coach John Cooper was fined $25,000 for their actions in the game on Saturday. Did you see anything was Cooper? Are they suggesting that he was sending guys out, or what did John Cooper do to get a $25,000 fine from that game?
Yeah, that's news to me, Jason. So unfortunately, I have no comment. Okay. Look, the league was not happy. That much was clear. And it's their right to do that. So I mean, that's the way it goes,
Yeah,
right?
like I watched the game because obviously my nephew plays in Florida, and I didn't see like one side clearly being the initiator. So that finds a little surprising me. 100. So maybe there was something that I didn't see, but $100K for the franchise and then $25K for head coach John Cooper, who doesn't really have a reputation of being a goon coach. So that's odd. All I know, Dave, November 15th.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I didn't know when we started this interview that you said it just came down.
Yeah, it literally just came down. So yeah, they so November 15th they play again, and I'm telling you, it's a must-watch game. Like I wish that was Hockey Night in Canada. I got the package so I can watch it anyway. But rivalries are good, and when it's two good teams and they're even, it makes it even better. Like, can you describe like how much respect but animosity there is between these two franchises right now?
Well, I think that there is that. When you meet in the playoffs as often as they have met in the playoffs recently in the last 5 years, and it's not been, I mean, it hasn't been Edmonton, LA, where wherever, however many years it's been that Edmonton has beaten LA. The Lightning had success at the beginning, and now the Panthers have won the last two. So the pendulum has swung back and forth. But that's what makes a great rivalry, right?
Yep.
And I think we're in one right now for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's great, man. It's great. Two good teams, lots of superstars, power, maybe a few shift disturbers on both teams makes it great. Well, Dave, enjoy a great season. We'll talk to you again throughout the year. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Dave Mishkin joining us from Tampa Bay. So, man, like, honestly, I was watching that game and yeah, trust me, it was entertaining. I'm not sure now, I wasn't watching like every shift. So maybe Cooper did something that I didn't see, but I'm like, I'd be curious what he did to get a $25K suspension and $100,000 for Tampa. And they got two of their guys suspended. Like, unless they're trying to suggest, like, Sabrin was his first shift of the game and he had a big hit on Ekblad and then he went right up to him and just dropped the mitts. Like, I don't know. Like, are you saying that he shouldn't have addressed him? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'd be curious what the if there's an explanation as to what was deemed $100K fine worthy. Also, this just coming down, man, a lot of breaking stories going on right now. The Edmonton Oil Kings have made a trade as they acquire an 8th-round pick in exchange from Lethbridge as Jack Toogood. Sick last name, though. Jack Toogood is going to Lethbridge. So good luck to Jack as he'll look to get a little bit more ice time playing in Lethbridge. We'll return with 5 questions and more. It's a Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440. Also, we got about an hour and 10 minutes left. We'll update you on our auction item today for Wednesday's home opener, the Oilers and the Flames.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Buy more, save more, give more at The Brick. This week at The Brick, save up to 30% off furniture and up to 15% off major appliances. Your stellar night's sleep starts with select mattresses up to 40% off. Or score a made-in-Canada mattress from just $159. Find store-wide savings on upholstery, major appliances, and big screen TVs, with a portion of proceeds donated to the stall. Buy more, save more, give more at The Brick. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantor's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, man. You should see the story that's just unfolded in Philadelphia right now. That one will hit you in the feels a little bit. 15 years ago today, Roy Halladay threw a no-hitter in the NLDS. Remember that? It was an unreal performance by him with the Phillies. And so today, on the 15th anniversary, his sons, Braden and Ryan, are all grown up, and they threw out the first pitch at the game. And, man, crowd's going crazy. Obviously, a little bit of tears. But, yeah, that was an unbelievable performance by Roy Halladay. He was a great pitcher and then, unfortunately, passed away way too young. So his boys who look old enough, those guys probably look mid to late 20s. So they'd have been, if they're, 10 to, 15, give or take. These guys are in their 25 to 30-year-old range that they probably would remember that game. So big moment in Philly, and the Phillies, we'll see if they come out firing after that. It is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And, man, we got lots of text in today. We've had the YouTube channel is up. Everybody's loving it. Thank you very much. Be sure to hit the subscribe button there. Get in the conversation. Watching on Facebook and X numbers are up. That's awesome. So thanks, everybody, for participating. We appreciate it, and glad you enjoy it. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick, where saving you more is what they promise on furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, and the ultimate bachelor leather couch at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, Connor McDavid signing the deal today, ending any stress Oilers fans might have had regarding the contract. My question for you is, what will his stat line look like this season?
Oh, good question. What's the stat line going to be? I will say 47 goals. It's going to score, what's that? 74 points, 74 assists, 121 points.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to go as high with the goals, but 44 goals. I'll say he's going to be extra generous this year. 85 assists. And 35 penalty minutes. He'll get himself out of the Lady Byng conversation, which I think is crucial for any good NHLer. Question number 2 for you. With this deal done, what is a storyline you're going to be paying attention to this Oilers season?
Well, to me, the big storyline is all about what's going to happen at the trade deadline. You know what? I think they're going to look for a better finisher on the wing, and we'll see who comes available. Who are some guys that, potential pending UFAs, like an Alex Tuck. I think his name's already one that people are looking at. But with McDavid signed, 3 years, You look at Jake Walman, when they acquired him, he had years left in his contract. When they acquired Matthias Ekholm, years left in his contract. I think in an ideal world, you want to get somebody who's got, 1 year. Now, sure, if it's Tuck, you'll take it. But I think they wouldn't mind getting guys in so they know that it's not just a 1 year. I think that works better off. So that's what I'll be looking for sure.
Partially for me, just the new coaching staff. I know obviously you got Knobloch who remains, but little parts of the new coaching staff. And I just want to see, can they avoid that big losing skid that we've seen the last couple of years, slow starts to the year? How do they come out to kick off the season? Maybe they're a little better equipped coming off what they went through in this offseason. They did it last year as well. So I just want to see how they react. If they lose a couple of games, do they extend that to 7 or 8, or do they nip it right there? Question number 3 for you. The Chiefs right now, 3.5-point favorites over the Jags at playalberta.ca, and the over-under is 45.5 points. If you were sprinkling some money down, where would you have it tonight?
Well, that's kind of right. If you look at the average of Chief games and what their point totals is and what the Jaguars' point totals are, that's pretty much, neither one of them, that's kind of right in the ballpark, right? Of them averaging like 22, 23 points, giving up the same thing. So, oh, geez. I will say the Jags have played pretty well, man. Is Worthy playing? Have they announced that for sure?
Well, let me take a look here.
Because that'll impact it a bit. If Worthy's playing, I think I'll take the over. I'm not sure. Jeez, I don't love that line. I'm not sure who I really like to win the game. I think I like the over better today. So I'll take the over.
Don't see Chiefs inactives yet. So officially, I can't say.
Okay. Gotta be coming close.
Jags put theirs out. So the Chiefs, unless the Chiefs are pulling that move they did in Brazil, where they just walk out late, do things at their own pace and their own leisure. I'm going to say Chiefs cover 3.5. They're coming off a game where they played really good. Points, I don't like over-under because I'm so bad at it, but I would say anytime touchdown, give me Brian Thomas Jr. BTJ in the loss does hit pay dirt. That's my pick for tonight. Question number 4 for you. LeBron James is making another decision. He put it out on his social media platforms, October 7th, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Do you think this is going to be a final year announcement? And if not, how much longer do you think he could play for?
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation on that. I don't know, man. Like, why? Why do you have to have it? Like, yeah, just can't help himself at times. He's done a lot of really good things. So I'm not going to I didn't like the first announcement, to be honest. And so this one, I would hope it's not, because if it's retirement, I'm like, dude, get over yourself. But if it's something else, okay, I could be interested in it. But if it's just a retirement announcement, I don't have much. That would just be the capital lame.
I'm with you. I like a lot about LeBron James, but the announcement was one that I did not like.
Yeah.
If it's not a retirement announcement, I don't know. Like, he's still averaging 24 points a game. Like, he's slowing down, but ever so lightly. He still played 70 games, 71 the previous year. So I think he could probably play a couple more years if he chooses to. But if this is it, I know you won't like it, but it's going to be probably a headline we see quite a bit. Final question for you today is National Noodle Day. So when it comes to noodles, what's your go-to? What's one that you avoid? And what sauce goes best?
Go ahead.
For me, I would say I like a good penne noodle. I avoid spaghettini. I absolutely hate spaghettini. I've on multiple occasions accidentally bought it, and it's the worst. And sauce, you know what? If I'm having noodles, I can't have it that often, but I love like Kraft dinner, mac and cheese. The cheese sauce to me is always elite. So that would be my pick.
Yeah, I like penne as well. That would probably be my favorite. Although, as I'll take rigatoni. I don't like the green fettuccine. No, get rid of it. Don't like it. It's terrible. And sauce, well, it's just more of a body one now. I can't really eat tomato sauce, unfortunately. So, but I guess the best sauce is a nice, just like natural cream sauce. Those are the best, man. Like with a lot of cheese in it. Like the best sauce I've probably ever had, though, I'd have to say at Vivo. Vivo's sauce is unreal on their just their straight up fettuccine. It's amazing. So that would probably be my favorite sauce. I don't know how to make it, though. They don't tell me. I don't know, Al. What the hell are you doing? Like, share the secret. It's not caramel. Come on. But I could see why. It's pretty damn good. Very, very good. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're up to $1,200 on our home opener orders experience for you. All money goes to the Gregor Foundation. Thank you very much. So we got 2 lower bowl seats, great seats to watch the Oilers and the Flames on Wednesday night. You will also be going for dinner for 2 in Studio 99. You're going to get a pregame arena tour behind the scenes. Like, you can't buy this anywhere. Tim Shipton's going to wheel you around to places you probably didn't even know exist in that facility. You're going to see everything. It's amazing. You'll also be parking in style in the underground parking. So you'll be right there. You wheel up in the elevator. Boom. You're right in there. So we got it at 1,200 bones. We got about just less than an hour to go. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us or call us. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Hey, you want great passes? Now, you got some, the certain passes with the gluten don't mind you. Well, guess what? Loca has all the passes that they have like in Europe, and they're great, and they will help you if you're a little bit intolerant. So check it out, loca.ca.
It's 1440 update.
Okay, so you missed it. The Edmonton Oilers and captain Connor McDavid agreeing on a 2-year, $25 million contract extension. McDavid will continue to carry the same $12.5 million AAV in his current contract that he signed in 2017. The team also signing defenseman Jake Walman to a 7-year extension with $49 million. Walman was acquired from the Sharks last trade deadline, appearing in 37 games, totaling 3 goals and 15 helpers. The Oilers in action Wednesday night, kicking off the season against the Flames just after 8 o'clock. Some flying today. Tampa Bay's J.J. Moser, suspended for 2 games for boarding Florida's Jesper Boquist, and Scott Fabrin has been suspended for 4 games for roughing Aaron Ekblad in the same matchup. Major League playoffs continuing, heading into the 4th. Phillies and Dodgers scoreless out in Philadelphia. Dodgers up in that series 1-0 at 7:08. You got the Cubbies taking on the Brewers. Milwaukee leading 1-0 so far. And in the NFL, Week 5 concludes this evening with the Jags hosting the Chiefs. That one gets going at 6:15 from Duval County. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Sports 1440's pre- and post-game host, Andrew Walker. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh yeah, save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Start your day with a blast of sports. Kevin Carius, along with Brandon Douglas, brings the fire, the fun, and the fearless takes. Weekdays, 7 to 11. Text Kevin, 883-401-1440. Mornings with Sports 1440.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical, lighting, and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. How are you? You made it through. Although it's probably an easy work day for many of you. As you found out, one of your favorite players is extending his time as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid, 2-year contract extension. So you got him for 3 more years. I don't really buy the puts the Oilers on notice angle that a lot of people are doing. Gives him maximum flexibility. The cap's going up a lot. Right, money clearly isn't a thing for him. So you know what? Go short. I've been pumping for short term for elite players for a long time, and the Oilers, are they going to be on more notice than what they've been on here the last few years? As I mentioned, only Florida has more playoff wins in the last 5 seasons than the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, they've been good. They got the 4th most wins in the regular season. They just don't have a cup. It's not from lack of trying. They've been right there. So I don't think much changes for the organization other than McDavid giving them a little bit more wiggle room in the cap. So it's a win-win for everybody. McDavid wants to win more than he wants to make an extra $5 million or a year, right? I think that's going to change his life. Hey, well, guess what, honey? We got 135 instead of 125. I don't think it's going to matter that much at that point in their life. So it's a good deal for him. Good deal for the organization. Great deal for the fans. You're pretty fired up. So away we go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Our bid package is at $1,200. Jeff on the farm has it. If you want in text us 833-401-1440. It's for Wednesday nights. Season opener. You get a behind the scenes tour of the arena with Tim Shipton. You're going for dinner. You got 2 tickets. You got the parking pass. You're going to have yourself a heck of a night. And hopefully, for your sake, you see a win. The Oilers, for a lot of times, they've been really dominant at home ice. But the last few years, that hasn't been the best starts to the season. But Did it really matter? They lost 8-1, went to the cup. Lost 6-0, went to the cup. So they figured it out. It didn't kill them, but you always like to get a win on opening night. It is the Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca. And we'll have to look. Do they have the odds up for that game yet on Wednesday? I think they might. Yes, the Oilers. Oof, Oilers are big favorites. Big favorites. Playalberta.ca is pretty confident that they will get a win. So we'll see. Now let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, where they lay new pipelines, install new sewer and water systems, while also rehabilitating existing infrastructure to prevent critical issues. Learn more, gsconstruction.ca. It's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Pretty good. Big day. Jake Walman signs. Everyone's pretty happy.
Yeah, it was a big deal for Walman. And, hey, guy would just, hey, Jake Walman made twice as much money as Connor McDavid today.
Got a way bigger raise, that's for sure.
That is true.
It is crazy. That's one of the things. I mean, I've listened to your, this whole thing about they're on notice to build a good team around them is just for people who maybe are watching hockey for the first time. Like, what have you been watching? They've been in the cup for 2 years in a row. They're the best team in the West for 2 seasons. And the distance last year got further than it was the year before.
Yeah.
But the thing that I thought found interesting was not only do we all know he took way less than he could have, and he took a giant haircut, as they say, but he basically took exactly the salary he had for the last 8 years, including this one. So, like, I defy you to go through sports history and find guys in their prime, who are not getting older and taking less money, but they're getting better and they're right in the middle of it, and they get a new contract and they don't take a single dollar of a raise. I don't know of that player. If he's out there, I haven't heard of him. Have you?
No, not at all. I just want to point this out for anybody on the south side. On 23rd Ave and Millwoods Road, westbound 23rd is closed. Eastbound is very, very slow. A really significant accident. One car is upside down. The other one's, I got a picture of it from one of our listeners. So be careful over there on the south side. It's moving very, very slowly. Hopefully no one was seriously hurt in that accident. You're right, Spec. It is, but hey, McDavid, he's made a lot of money. And I think McDavid's, everything him and Stan Bowman said from the get-go about this was, it's not about the money. I just, it was a feeling, whatever it was, why he needed a little bit more time. It's his prerogative. And, Stan Bowman outlined, they never really talked about money. They talked about a lot of other things like, hey, we're not going to be blessed with first top 10 picks and probably maybe not even first round picks, but we'll find ways to bring in players elsewhere, right? They traded for Savoy. They traded for Howard. They signed Tomasic, right? They pick up Regula on waivers. They pick up Kapanen on waivers. Now he's going to be one of their better penalty killers this year. So there's different ways to augment the roster around. And obviously, I still think like their next big game hunting will be a scoring winger and potentially a goalie. Although if Stuart Skinner plays like he did in 2024, I don't think they'll go shopping for a goalie.
No, this is a huge year for Stu Skinner because, the only on notice part of this thing is I think you'd agree. If they don't win a cup in 3 years, I have a hard time. If I'm Connor McDavid, I'm not sure I'm going to hang around for this thing anymore. Maybe it's not meant to be. So, we'll talk about that 2 years from now. But I would say to you that the on notice isn't just on Bowman. It's on everybody in the dressing room. If you're going to get to the cup, you got to win it. It's time to win a cup. Sid Crosby can sit in Pittsburgh right now, Jay, and say, I think I'll finish my career in a team that's going nowhere. I don't know if he will. He may not. But the point is, he's got 3 rings in his safety deposit box, right? So it's easy to finish it off there and say, you know what, I have one here. It's a special place. If Connor McDavid is here for the next 3 years and they don't win, I don't blame him for seeking to go somewhere else. So back to Skinner, it is a huge year. If Skinner's going to be the goalie for this thing, he better show that he's the goalie this year.
Yeah, well, 100%. And like I said, just play like he did in 2024. If that's what he does, then he'll be fine. I know he had 2 bad games in the playoffs, and people kind of seem to forget the 50 games he had in the regular season, the other 21 in the playoffs. Last year wasn't a great year for him, but that happens to lots of players at lots of different positions, where they go up and down. And so Because, unless you're going to get like a no-brainer goalie, and I'm not sure there's one available. Maybe there is. We'll see. But I think a scoring winger is definitely going to be a big priority for the Oilers at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the way it stacks up today, listen, there's, let's say 60 games to go between now and the deadline, and stuff changes, Guys get hurt, guys have bad seasons, guys have good seasons, right? Maybe someone elevates up into the spot we think they're trying to fill. So, yeah, starting out the season, to me, it's a left winger. You're looking for a top 6 left winger, a guy that can put the puck away. We're not going to start talking about the trade deadline yet, are we? We're not doing that here.
Well, no, I'm not going to do. But that, to me, like, if you look ahead, I'm going to look at the order, see how they play. You got 4 months to see. How does Savoy look? How does Howard look? How does Tomasic look? How does Regula look? Yeah, there's lots of things like trade deadline, whatever, because you don't know who's available now. Yeah. You have no idea, because it doesn't have to be a pending UFA. They could be looking for a guy with term, like they did with Ekholm, like they did with Walman, right? I think those are or maybe they look for a guy who's an RFA and then they can extend him like they did with Frederick. I don't think their organization's done a lot of just pure rentals at the deadline. And I think it makes sense, right? Adam Henrique wasn't a pure rental, right? You get guys that you want to get for a little bit longer. And I think it makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure. Bowman, listen, I thought Bowman, from the time he took over, and that was after they signed Skinner and Arvidsson, I thought Bowman's done a pretty good job here. I think he had to recover a little bit from some of that. He brought in some youth, right? He's stocked the cupboards with young guys like Podkolzin and Savoy and Howard. I guess Regula is not that old. So I don't mind the job Bowman's doing. I'm getting close to, like I'll say about a lot of really good GMs is shut up, get out of their way and let them work. Bowman might be one of those guys. I don't see a lot of holes in what he's done here thus far.
No, that is totally fair. Tomasic and Howard will come up tomorrow, most likely, when Hyman gets put on LTR. So you kind of know what the roster look like. Spec. On Saturday in Vancouver, Matt Savoy ended up on the second line with Mangiapane and Nugent Hopkins. He practiced there again on Sunday. You look for Savoy to start on the second line. Is that what you think is going to happen? Or do you, I'm not one who gets too caught up in lines. I think the top line is going to stay the same for a while, but I think other guys are going to move around because you don't really know what you have from some of those guys.
Yeah. You know what makes it really hard with the Oilers right now is this sickness thing that they've had. Like they have just, they from about halfway through last week up until through this weekend, it's just rolling through their team. So was he playing there because someone else they wanted there was sick? I don't know. Are certain guys maybe not playing as well because they're playing sick? I don't know. So they're a hard team to judge because we do know that it's rolling through. I mean, I was talking to Jamie Cartmell today. Even he's sick as a dog. He's their media relations guy. So, when they're healthy, is Savoy a second line right winger? Maybe he is. Well, Hyman's out, Jay. Maybe until Hyman gets back, he is. I hate to see a young kid starting out so high in the lineup because it's a chance for him to fail. But he might be, with Hyman not starting the season, Savoy might be, the second line right winger on this team. Yep.
Yeah, to start, right? And nothing wrong with that. Regula is going to play at least one game. Spec, in place. But the fact that he's getting the guy to start alongside Darnell Nurse shows to me that he's moved ahead of Emberson and Stetcher, at least for right now, in the eyes of the coaching staff. And, that's a good news for Regula. Like, that's not like if you give Regula, I don't even care if he's a sixth defenseman on your team. If you go and pick up a sixth defenseman who's going to play regular minutes and be a good impact player on waivers for nothing, that's another great acquisition.
And he's on a 2-year deal for like $780,000 or something. So, yeah, if he becomes part of your top 7, you've got a big right shot defenseman who couldn't be cheaper. So, yes, that is a huge for nothing. So that's a giant victory. I mean, that's a giant victory for sure. What do you do? Like, let's say he plays against Calgary and Vancouver and you really like his game. And then Walman comes back for the New York road trip. Do you go to New York with 8 defensemen, or do you got to waive either Regula, Emberson, or Stetcher and send them down? What do you do?
Well, I guess, you wait to see who's healthy, number one, but I'm not sending Regula down. Especially if he just plays okay, in his first few games here after not playing in 18 months, it's a no-brainer. I'm not sending Regula down. It's going to be Emberson or it's going to be Stetcher. I don't even think twice about it. Like, you got a size matters on the back end, right shot. He's a better puck mover, I think, than both of them. So yeah, to me, it's Regula all day that I'm not sending down.
Well, for sure. But now Emberson's younger and, give him a chance. Emberson hasn't played many games, right? I think there's more defensemen there than what we see. And Stetcher is your insurance policy. Like, we know what he is. We know what he brings. He's played over 500 games. He's small and feisty and plays that chip on his shoulder. I hate to lose him, but you can't keep them all. So yeah, they may have to figure something out about a week into the season here when Walman's ready to play.
Yes. Mark Spector joins us. Spec also is a great weekend in baseball. Now not for your Cubbies. They're hoping to get back at it tonight, but Spec, Trey Yesavage, man. And really Gosman was really good starting, but Trey Yesavage, those first 4 innings, some of the best 4 innings you've ever seen of any pitcher, never mind a rookie, in the playoffs. Like, he was virtually unhittable.
His arm angle is the weirdest thing for me. Like, he comes right over the top. And as such, the ball is coming downhill at the hitter. It's very unique and very difficult. Like, not many guys pitch that way because not many guys can pitch that way. I don't know his history. I don't know where it started. Was he born that way? Did he pitch that way when he was 10 years old? I don't know the answer to any of that. But when you watch him throw a fastball and it starts up top at 12 o'clock and comes down to the bottom of the zone at 3 o'clock, that is a wicked pitch. Then he throws a splitter on that, which dives even more. Man, like, tell you what, right now, if I got a huge game coming up in 5 days from now and I can pick Scherzer or I can pick this guy, there's no question I'm picking Yesavage and give him a couple more starts. If this team gets the World Series, he may end up starting a very important game as a young rookie, because right now that lineup, the Yankees lineup, couldn't touch him. I mean, they couldn't touch him on the weekend.
Oh, dude, Trey Yesavage is, mark it down. The Jays win this series. Him, Bieber, and Gosman are your 3 first pitchers. I don't think there's much now, unless I guess Bieber, tanks it here tomorrow night. But no brainer. He's going to be pitching an important game in the next series, and maybe 2, because if he starts in game 2, then he's probably pitching again in game 6. Right? That's just how it is in the playoffs with the days off between games. So it'll be it was amazing, but also their bat spec. Like, oh my goodness, Vladdy Guerrero struggled down September, and then he had a little adjustment time in that week off. He came out and they couldn't get him out. Like, that grand slam was a no doubter. The minute it touches bat into the second deck, he's hitting 2 home runs. He's hitting all over. He's making good defensive plays. Like, what a series for Vladdy and Varsho and really all their hitters pretty much.
Yeah, when you get a team like we always expect the Vlad Guerreros to deliver in the playoffs because they're paid to, right? He's the guy, and he's never done it before. And to see him doing it, like, it's a bit reaffirming. You're happy if you're a Jays fan that the guy that you're paying all the money and your big cleanup hitter guy, when the big game shows up, so does he. So that makes you feel good if you're the Jays, if you're a Jays fan, if you're Rogers and you're paying a ticket. But when you then get the Ernie Clements and the Varshos, right? And Alejandro Kirk's having a nice series. And you get all these guys, listen, that's just too many guys that are hot right now. Ernie Clements killing them. Varshow's killing them. It's, that's how you win, brother. That's how you win. You're the opposite of a one-man team. Their bullpen is fantastic. Their starting pitching has been almost perfect. It was the other day, no-hit ball from Yesavage. And you got about 5 or 6 guys that are taking turns contributing, and Bichette's not even playing. So that's how you win. You're just getting it from every angle of your organization. They keep getting it from this many places, Jason. Who the hell's going to beat them?
Well, hey, the Yankees, there's a few teams, obviously, like, as you get deeper, there's some other good teams here for sure. But yeah, the way they're going, you get good pitching, you get good hitting. Well, it's pretty much a recipe for success. But your
excellent defense too.
Oh yeah, excellent defense. Outfielders catches all over the place. Milwaukee just jumped all over your Cubbies in the first inning, right? He's pretty much lights out Irene. Did you even bother watching the rest of that game?
Wait a sec. The first game. I watched the first 2 innings. It was 9-1. I went out to the yard, started doing some work. The game starts. The Cubs hit a leadoff home run to start the game. And I'm like, hey, man, this is going to be a great day. I can't wait to watch this game. Half hour later, I got the lawnmower. I'm pushing it around. The grass doesn't even need cutting. Wow.
I couldn't believe it, man. 6 runs in the bottom of the year. Like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Like
that didn't go so great. We'll take another run at those Milwaukee guys tonight, don't you?
Lead off home run on the road. You're like, you can't get a better start than that. You're like, this is awesome. And then,
this is going to be awesome.
Gave up the 6 spot. Not very good at all.
Oh, man.
Looking at it back to the orders quickly, the Jake Walman contract. We talked about a little bit, but Jake Walman, 7 years, $7 million. Now, he's had a setback, so he's not going to start the season. That's the only slight concern I have with the Walman is that he's a guy. Now, if he misses 15 games every year but plays in the playoffs every year, then whatever. But that's the only concern really I have with Walman. It's nothing ability. It's just availability at times.
Well, I was looking at that myself today, right? So last season, Jake Walman played for San Jose and Edmonton. He played 65 games. Then he played 22 games in the playoffs. So a defenseman who blocks shots the way he does, you play 65 games, I can live with that. The 2 years before that, he played 63 games each season. No playoff games. His team didn't make the playoffs. So it was the year before that, 4 seasons ago, where he had about a 50-game year. And so, yeah, I get it, right? If he's giving me 65, 68, 70 games, I can live with that, Jay. I can live with that. If it starts going downhill, I mean, he's just starting a 7-year deal here. Do you think 7 years is a little long for a 29-year-old defenseman?
Yeah. If I'm being bluntly honest, yes. He skates well, so I get it. They look at it and where the cap's going in a few years. Spec, $7 million. If he's a second pair D-man, probably won't even be that crazy. But yeah, it's not ideal, right? He doesn't have a ton of games played so far in his career. Just because, like a lot of guys, went to start a little bit later in the minors and, they're up and down. So that's okay. But yeah, it's, I've always said this. If it's me, I would have limited, deals to 5 years. I just would have. Now the league's gotten down to 7, right? They could have done 8 and the orders were like, we're not doing 8. So they did 7, which is basically the max starting next summer that you can do. And I think in a few years, spec the next CBA, I won't be surprised if it's down to 6, to be honest. And that's okay, because just long-term deals really don't help it helps an individual player a bit, but it doesn't help the overall league, because you have lots of guys who aren't elite players who then, they get bought out. There's dead cap space. It doesn't really help the existing PA. So I honestly think 5 years would be better for everybody overall. And if you keep playing well, all that'll happen is you'll get paid more after 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the opposite of McDavid. Like, when you look at the big boys, if you want to buy those guys for 7 or 8 years, you got to pay more, because the cap's going up and they want to be, whatever they want to be, 17, 18% of the cap. So you got to spend more money. When you're signing Jake Walman, you probably get him for a lower AAV by giving him an extra year. So maybe that's part of the thinking, is we get him for a little cheaper right now. Like, it's not 7.8 or 7.5. I don't know, but I don't love 7 years either, Jay. I don't think that's you just lock yourself in. That's all. But I get it as a player. I mean, he's 29, signing a 7-year deal. That is possibly the last deal that he'll ever sign, possibly, right? So good for the player. I don't love it. I don't love 7 years for Trent Frederick, even though he's a little younger. I still don't love a whole 7-year deal. But if that's what it takes to keep guys in Edmonton, it's a little different market up here. Maybe that's what you got to do. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Spec.
I know my deal on this show is like week to week, if that.
Yeah,
so.
Well, Spec, you know what, though? Keeps you on your toes, month to month deal. I think it works out better for everybody.
Oh, it's month to month. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that sounds better already.
Yeah, you always show up, right? You always show up on time. Keep fresh, right? Wash your glasses, comb your hair. So it's perfect. It's perfect. We'll let you go, Spec. You got to psych yourself up. It's a little late start tonight for the Cubbies and the Brewers. So there'll definitely be no mowing the grass if it goes well. You'll probably just have to shut it off and watch Love Island or something else.
That's going to be a tough choice for me.
All right, Jay. We'll talk to you tomorrow. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by. I've never watched Love Island. I have no idea if it's any good or if I'm assuming it's not that good, but that's okay. It could be one of those guilty pleasures that you know is terrible, but you still enjoy it. That's fine. Just can't do it, but yeah, like that Cubbies game. Oh, look at this leadoff home run! Great way to start on the road, and then boom, they gave up 6. Next turn, they gave up 3, and you're like, what the hell? It's game over. Like, good night, Irene. Kind of like Yankee fans. They're just like, oh, okay, here we go. Oh, juice. Grand slam. Oh, now another 2-run home run. Oh, now another home run. Oh, that was just an absolute ass kicking. But like, if you were anybody who was listening who was at that game, because I know some, diehard fans, you fly out for games. Like, oh my God, what a fun game to be at. 12-0 at one point. Even when they give up a few runs, you're like, whatever. We're still up by 6. Like, it's a good time to be a Jays fan. We'll return. We'll talk more hockey. Ball, some football. It is playoff week for the Elks. You got to win on Saturday night, baby. The doubleheader. Elks at 5, Oilers at 8. Should be loads of fun. And we'll get you back. We got, if you want to get in on our auction item today, we got about 30 minutes left. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Buy more, save more, give more at The Brick. This week at The Brick, save up to 30% off furniture and up to 15% off major appliances. Your stellar night's sleep starts with select mattresses up to 40% off. Or score a Made in Canada mattress from just $159. Find store-wide savings on upholstery, major appliances, and big screen TVs, with a portion of proceeds donated to the Stollery. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth AA football coverage, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:27. Welcome back. Lovely Monday afternoon. Well, it's a little better Monday than most for you. You got McDavid for more years. You got Jake Walman for 7 more seasons. If you're a Jays fan, you're sitting there waiting the Jays could sweep the Yankees. Oh, how sweet would that be? A sweep over the Yankees. Imagine if they just pumped them again. When you score 10 runs, you got to score 23 runs in 2 games. Not bad. Not bad at all. Be pretty hard to continue averaging 11.5 runs per game for the Blue Jays. Also, hey, if you're an NFL fan, you probably weren't loving the last weekend unless you loved underdogs, because a lot of upsets, including the Bills. What about Drake May? We haven't really touched on him. Drake May, man, looking like a veteran of many years in that game down the stretch. Some huge plays and the Patriots defense played pretty good against the Bills. So no teams are undefeated anymore in the NFL. The 72 Dolphins, they're probably, I don't even know if they celebrate when it's only, do you even bother getting together? You probably do for fun. Why wouldn't you? But I don't know if anybody's ever going to break that record, to be honest. And in the NHL last year, there were 2 teams who started the season 4-0. I don't count loser points, okay? 3-0-1 is not 4-0. You've lost a game. You just got a point for losing, okay? But there was only 2 teams who went 4-0 in the NHL. Do you remember who they were? Connor Halley, any guesses? The 2 teams who went 4-0 in the NHL last year?
Nope, couldn't tell you.
One made the playoffs, one didn't make the playoffs. The Winnipeg Jets, they are actually 8-0. And the other one, the Calgary Flames, started out 4-0. Had a good year. They had 96 points. Lost out by the slimmest of margins in the playoffs. If they're in the East, they would have made it, but they're not. So, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got 25 minutes left. You want to get in our Oilers experience for the home opener? Well, you have 2 tickets to the game, lower bowl, great seats, also dinner for 2 in Studio 99, and a pregame behind-the-scenes arena tour with Tim Shipton. So you get lots of stories, dinner, and in the tour. You also get an underground parking pass, so you'll be there. You don't have to walk anywhere. You'll be right close, right underneath. And then, of course, you get to watch the game. So right now we have it. Jeff on the farm has it at 1,200. If you want in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As let's talk a little hockey now, as the pre and post game host coming out of hibernation for the off season, as he'll be on Wednesday right here at 6:00. Andrew Walker joins us. Walks, how you doing?
Hey, Greg's good, buddy. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Lots, a lot of excitement for Oilers fans, as there should be. McDavid's got contract now for 3 more seasons at least. Jake Walman's actually 8 at maximum for him. They've got a lot of their guys. Really, only Ekholm, I think, the only big name they got left to sign an extension to. They got their coach under contract, so they pretty much kind of put all their ducks in a row to start the season in 2 days.
Yeah, I gotta say, today is it's a great day if you're an Oilers fan. It's even better if you are a Jays fan. And I would say I don't consume a ton of media, a ton of podcasts, but my favorite guys that do a Calgary podcast, so I do listen to them once in a while, and they obnoxiously, obviously hate the Oilers, but they're also very anti-Jays. And so for me to tune in today, it was very much Schadenfreude. It was lovely to see their world was collapsing around them, which was a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's interesting. Calgary's always, I was talking to Florida and Tampa earlier. That's a rivalry because both teams have won and both teams beat each other. Really, Calgary had the one time where Edmonton kind of beat themselves in the Steve Smith goal, and that's really been it. I've never been able to beat them when it matters, and that city has just never gotten over it. I've been amazed. I have buddies who moved down to Calgary, God, these guys talk about the Oilers more. I think the sentiment was they hate Edmonton more than they like their own team, and that's I thought that was very well put.
Listen, I worked quite a few years in Calgary in that market, and growing up an Oilers fan as a young broadcaster, I'll admit there were times before I got kind of disillusioned with all fandom at a certain point. It happens to us all. It was a little difficult because I cheered for the Oilers, and I was down there and talking about the Flames all day. It was kind of one of those things. But in the last number of years, it's been really interesting because I have a lot of friends, obviously, that are Flames fans, and Spent a lot of time in Red Deer, which, as you know, is like right in the middle, right? Like if a civil war ever broke out, Red Deer would be the safe place, right? But I've thought that was really interesting lately. People in Calgary are obsessed. They are obsessed with the Oilers, and I'm sure there's a lot of Oiler fans that like, you know, ABC, right? Anybody but Calgary, and there have been times, especially in the decade of darkness, that Calgary got their licks in, but everybody did, to be honest. Like the Sedins came in here and, you know, ran the Oilers show for 10 years. But you're right, not when it mattered. And so I generally right now think that, like, do Oiler fans, like, do they even, to be honest, I kind of find, I said this all year last year, I find the Flames kind of likable, right? Like they work hard. I like Craig Conroy. You got to like Dustin Wolf, and they're kind of like, you know, they overachieved and they're not a threat. And I don't think about the Flames at all. And you go down there, oh my God, they are obsessed with the Oilers, which is, it's hilarious to me.
Yeah. Looking at the McDavid contract, obviously to me the only surprise is that it's $12.5 million, and you know it illustrates like, hey, he's still making $125 million in 10 years, like he'll do all right. But you know what? Obviously, he could have made more if he wanted to. Edmonton would have gladly paid him more, so it's not about the open market. He just chose to be here. He's given himself a better chance to win. You know, they got a lot of their key guys locked up now for the next 3 seasons with McDavid, and so now, you know, and hey, the management's built a pretty good team here. They've got the 2nd most playoff wins. They got the 4th most regular season wins the last 5 years. Like, I don't think anything changed. Like, if he would have signed for 6 years, it wasn't like the organization's like, oh, okay, well, we can try to win less hard. Like, makes no sense.
Right.
To me, nothing really changes. I don't buy this suggestion that, oh, the clock is ticking in Edmonton. It's 3 years. That's a really damn long clock.
You'd love to be guaranteed that McDavid was going to wear the Oilers jersey for 5 or 6 years. Sure. Like, you know, why wouldn't you want that? But you're right. 3 years is an eternity. In the modern day, in a cap era, 3 years is a dynasty, right? That's what the Hawks had. It's what Tampa had. It's what Florida had. You know, when I look at this, here's what I think. I'm actually, this is not me patting myself on the back. I'm not really surprised by what happened today, because the exercise that I've put myself through lately, and I don't know about you, Greggs, but this summer, thinking like, will he, won't he, what's he thinking? What is that camp thinking? I thought a lot about, okay, put myself, as difficult as it is to do, put myself in McDavid's shoes. Now, what would I do if I was him? And if I believe what's to be true, that he cares about his legacy, winning is what drives him. And I've heard you talk on your show multiple times, like, if winning is truly what drives you, like, where the hell are you going, right? There's one team that is proven to be better than you, and you're not going to Florida. Like, that's not happening. So, like, where else is there to go? Leverage works both ways. So in my thought, and yeah, there might be a little bit of, hey, listen, the organization has to prove it before I just blindly sign a 7 or 8 or 8 year deal. My thought was, if I really believe that what Connor McDavid cares about, and that's winning, I'm signing a very small deal. And a lot of people are talking 3 or 4. I kind of thought 2. And I would do it at a number that obviously is still one of the highest paid players in the league. But cap space is everything. I wish it wasn't, but that's the world we live in. Sidney Crosby, Greggs, is an amazing player. And you know why he has 3 Stanley Cups? Part of it is, yeah, he's a wonderful player. And the other part of it is he makes $8.7 million, right? The Chicago Blackhawks may be the best modern day team we've seen in the cap era. They won 3 cups. You know, the first one, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane were making a combined $2 million. It matters. I think the Leafs are not this team of crazy losers that don't know how to win. I saw 4 guys that took every single penny. And what does that leave you with? It leaves you with a team that is 1 or 2 pieces away. It's just not a surprise to me. So I think what Connor McDavid did here, I'm going short term. I'm going $12.5 million, and it gives you a little bit of time. Next year, the cap's going up to 104, right? So all of a sudden, the Edmonton Oilers have $20 million to play with. Like, let's go win. Like, there's like it's not never easy, but there's no more excuses. I love it, and at the same time, I wasn't surprised. Like, if he really cares about winning, the only way to do it is to give your team a chance to actually do it.
Andrew Walker joins us, pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440. What's your expectations for? We'll start and go in order: Savoy, Howard, Tomasic.
I see Savoy as an 82-game player. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some ups and downs. I really like his game. I love his speed. I think he's a little more versatile, right? He can kill some penalties. I love that burst against Vancouver on the weekend. That was shocking. You know, I thought he might have a chance to get a shot on goal. All of a sudden, he has a full-fledged breakaway. This is a development year for Howard. Some of that development, I think, will be in the NHL. A lot of it will be in the AHL. And Tomasic, I'm intrigued by. We've all learned preseason doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, but to me, Tomasic does look like an NHL player, right? It's, obviously playing the European season, you play about half the game. Is he up to the rigors? Is he a guy that's in and out of the press box? Probably. And I also think on a team that is back-to-back Western Conference championships, you have to look through it in a different lens, right? Like, this isn't the days where, we're all excited about Hall and Everly and Nuge, and you give them the keys and it's their team. It just doesn't work that way anymore, not with this group. So I think, if one of these guys, and I'm looking at Savoy, if he has a year, like a rookie year, like, say, I'm not even talking Calder, like, that's crazy to me, but like a Jackson Blake last year in Carolina, where he worked his way up, he started on the fourth line, and by the end of the year, he's playing top six and finished with 17 goals. Like, to me, that is a huge win if that's what happens with one of these guys. Howard, I think, is more of an up and down guy. But I've liked all three. I've liked elements of all three.
Andrew Walker joins us. Yeah, they're very different. Like, when Zach Hyman comes back, that's going to impact it. Like, I think if Howard's not necessarily playing a ton, or maybe not producing at that point, they might say, hey, buddy, you can go down to the American League for a while, which isn't the end of the world. There's so many people that I think erroneously.
It's what they did with Savoy last year.
Yeah.
I think he's better for it.
100% he's better for it. And he's talked about it, man. I got all these touches offensively. I got to kill penalties. Like, I got to be in the game. Like, I think some people think that because a guy's an offensive player that he doesn't want to play in other situations. No, he's competitive. They want to play in every situation. So, it's all good. And so I think that, they're in a good situation. In a weird way, the Hyman injury might open up a few doors for people that aren't necessarily there. One last one for you. Outside of the penalty kill, is there anything else that's a concern for you?
Concern? No, not a concern. I mean, I'm like everybody, right? I think the goaltending situation is a question mark. I do expect Stuart Skinner to turn some heads this year, and have a good season. But I do think that the leash is short, and I think especially with what happened today, and the McDavid extension, there is. I wouldn't say how you phrase it, like the clock is ticking. I agree with you, not necessarily, but your window is 3 years, and you can't pussyfoot around. You have to be decisive, and there is an official window here now, and that goes with you draft a player, like we got to draft this player. If he's 3, 4, 5 years away, it's not helping you in this window, and that's going to be a reality here. And so I do think that people are really hard on the goaltending, but also they get paid no money in a cap era, and they've made 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. So I've never really thought it's the end of the world. Everyone would love a Igor Shesterkin or a Jake Ottinger in there, but again, where do you get those guys, and are you paying them 8, 9, 10 million? So I would say the goaltending is the closest thing. I just think that this team has to be very decisive on if it's going to work or not, and I think that they plan to do that. Otherwise, I like the defensive depth. I just look at last year, And from night one of the season, right, they get blown up by Winnipeg, then they got lost to Calgary, and they were 0-3. It took them so long to find their footing, and there was injuries. It was not a great year for the Oilers. Like they lost Holloway, they lost Broberg. The free agents they brought in were not good. They made a good deal to get Walman at the deadline, and it was just a very blah season. And they still made Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final, right? Like the floor is so high for this team, and the ceiling's even higher. Last year was a great example. A lot of things can go wrong, and they were still right there, 2-2 in the Cup final in June, and they lost to a better team. I'll admit that, but it's right there for this group, right? So I don't really think there's any huge problems. I think that there's a whole lot more focus and motivation than there was a year ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team had a way better regular season than they did a year ago.
Andrew, we'll be tuning in Wednesday, my man. Thanks for this. Have a good one.
Awesome. It's going to be fun. Thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's Andrew Walker. He's back for another season, pre and post game right here on Sports 1440, 545. We will take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise at tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's Cast Tours. CASTTOURS. 1-833-347-7678.
Smart, connected, community-driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor, 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Yeah, can I get a... yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie. Now at McDonald's.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. Featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and you can play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, 5:49. Welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a great day. Carla just came in at $1,400 on our package bid. Jeff was actually at $1,297.50 after Mike went to $1,250. Now Carla's up at $1,400. So here we go, rock and roll. So Carla, Jeff, be sure to answer your phone. Connor is going to call you for last second bids. And away we go. It'll be good. 833-401-1440. So we'll get to that. Nice. We got lots more texts coming in. Lots of text on the show today. People are fired up. Why would you not be? It's a pretty big day. I asked early on for Oiler fans, what was like their first reaction when you heard it? Like a few words, sentences. You know, we had lots of ones. Gregor, I couldn't even speak. It was just a lot of expletives. So that was fantastic. Also, hey boys, any thoughts on LeBron James, what he's announcing tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. My guess is maybe retirement. That would just be my guess. So we'll see. But again, that's only a guess. Now, I don't know. Like that would be a pretty odd thing to announce and have I think it'd be a little bit too self-serving, if I'm being bluntly honest. You know, my thoughts on season. I don't like season long for anybody. And now LeBron James is an epic player, right? He's one of the top 5, top 3, top 2, whatever best players of all time, right? There's not much debating that. But at the same time, I don't love a season long goodbye. You got to go everywhere. Everyone says thanks, and organizations are like, well, this guy really didn't mean anything to our organization. He meant anything to the league, but now we got to give him some painting or something else. Like, I don't know. It'd be nice if there was a few humorous gifts. That's maybe what I would like. And maybe we'll do an episode of that once on the show. If that indeed is what his announcement is, we should be like, so we should go through the organizations and be like, what's a real humorous gift that you can give him? Because like, honestly, you're giving him some painting of whatever, like, where's he going to put them all? Like, what's he going to do? Right. So that would be my thoughts on that. So, hey guys, what do you think McDavid's contract means for the management? Does it make their job easier or harder? Because now other free agents might want to take more money because I know the Oilers have more in the cap. Well, I definitely don't think it's the latter, right? I don't think teams are going to, like, a free agent's going to call Stan Bowman and say, you know what? Hey, you know what? Everybody looks and says, okay, this guy in the free agent market is worth $7 million. And he's like, yeah, to sign in Edmonton, I want $9 million. They're going to be like, that really kind of goes against what our top guys are doing. So no thanks. So no, I definitely don't think it'll be the latter. I think, I guess it makes it a little bit easier in the way that, yeah, you've got some more money to spend, but you know, other teams have more money to spend too, right? And there'll be certain guys who are at a place in their life where money doesn't matter, right? Especially on the free agent market for some of them, not all. But for some, a guy who's like, you know what, I played this many years in the league, I've made my 50 mil or 40, because hey, 45 mil, whatever the number is, 40 mil. It's like, you know what, I'll sign a 2-3 year deal. And, you know, maybe I'm leaving $2 million on the table or $3 million total over 3 years, but I have a chance to win, and I'm probably going to have a lot of fun. So, Cons, we got a winner.
Yeah, Jeff went up to $16.97.
$16.97. Jeff, Carla, thank you very much for being here. We love it. We'll be in touch with you. And Jeff, you're going to the game on Wednesday. Fitting $16.97. All going to charity. So we love that. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves an awesome Monday. Enjoy the baseball playoffs. We'll have more kickoff to the NHL. We got a whole show on milestones that could be reached this year for individuals, team records and stuff. We'll get to all of that. Lots of our regulars are coming back, so it's going to be a great day. And we'll talk some green and gold as well, as it is playoff week for the Elks. You got to win to stay in the race, baby. We'll talk about that. Have a great night. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the Oilers and captain Connor McDavid agreeing on a 2-year, $25 million contract extension that'll carry the same AAV of $12.5 million on his current deal, which he signed back in 2017. The team also signed defenseman Jake Walman to a 7-year extension worth $49 million. He was acquired from San Jose last season, appearing in 37 games total with the Oilers preseason and postseason, 3 goals, 15 assists. The Oilers in action Wednesday night, kicking off their season against the Flames down at Rogers Place. In the majors right now, top of the 7, scoreless, Phillies and Dodgers. Dodgers, though, right now, runners with second on and third with no outs. They lead that series 1-0. Coming up in about an hour, you got the Cubbies and the Brewers meeting in Milwaukee. Brewers up in that series 1-0. And in the NFL, Week 5 concludes this evening with the Chiefs taking on the Jags. That starts at 6:15. The Edmonton Oil Kings making a move today, acquiring a conditional 8th-round pick in 2028 from the Lethbridge Hurricanes in exchange for forward Jack Toogood. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it is Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. I'm Connor Halley. This is